The following episode contains major spoilers for a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition publication. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Legend Lore, the podcast series where two Dungeon Masters, one of them me and the other one Dan, apparently.
Obviously.
Yeah. Flip through one Dungeons & Dragons book at a time, giving their insights on the pros and cons of the publication in question. I'm Adam, and with me, like I just said, is Dan.
Hi.
And today we're going over our thoughts on the Wizards of the Coast product, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
I have a bone to pick before we get to this.
Okay. Oh god, he's touching his bone.
No. You son of a bitch. You have told me, hey Dan.
Hey Dan.
We're going to do this, Legend Lore series. It's going to be lots of fun. I was totally on board with Rime of the Frost Maiden. I did not know that this would include Tasha's. So Tasha's was coming out. I was going to get super excited because it has a bunch of character stuff that I could do. And you sent me a message saying, hey Dan, I really hope you're staying spoiler free for Tasha's because it's part of the Legend Lore thing. And I gotta say, I've had people messaging me saying, hey, what do you think of this path?
Fucking Brad is the worst because he got an
Brad,
D&D Beyond.
Brad is the worst one of the bunch, but it's Brad. He's the worst one of the bunch.
Of course.
Dave. Brad and Dave.
Yeah, well,
anyways,
we're not judging based on smell.
It's true. Regardless, I have been wanting to look at this book. And then because of the podcast, dear friends out there in podcast land, I hope you understand the sacrifice that I have taken upon myself to not take a whiff of Tasha's up until this point. So I'm rigid right now. What do we have in front of us, Adam?
Well, I know what you have in front of you, apparently. Jesus. All right, so what we have in front of me right now is a
Amazon box.
It's an Amazon box because this is a Christmas present from my brother.
Oh.
Yep, it's way early, but this is it. So
thank you, Adam's brother.
Yeah, let me just say, in the words of Robot Jesus, that's just prime. Because it's Amazon, get it?
Oh, right.
All right, so I'm going to open this up. Open in the box. We have not yet laid eyes upon this. I love doing an unboxing episode.
On audio medium.
Audio, yeah. So, sorry to
So this
everyone.
tearing noise is the special Amazon tape that everyone hates.
Yeah, so, there's big bubble wrappy things.
Bubble wrappy things.
And then I got the regular cover of Tasha's. Oh, it's smaller than I thought it was.
Wow, that's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a big.
Well, this is going to be a
level.
short episode. No, it's not.
I fucking doubt it. This is, let's see, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Let's roll.
I got a natural fucking one. Because
Okay,
of course
I got a 6. So I'm going to start off. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, a magical mixture of new rules, options for the world's.
Before we really dive into it, Adam, do you want to explain what the Legend Lore series is about since it's a new thing?
Nope. Because I'm just too fucking excited.
Okay, so briefly, I will do it just to further cock tease Adam. The Legend Lore series, which is a new one, this is episode 2 of it, is where we go through and we break down this book that neither of us have really spent too long into. I know you did that in the opening. I want to impress upon the fact that this is us doing a kind of a first look into them. And it, for two D&D nerds who have every single D&D book, this is a massive...
Yeah, we're going to do this with all the new publications. So.
Yeah.
So Dan's going to get cock-blocked repeatedly here.
Yay.
So
just like Gratz did, because it's Tasha, and it's going to have some Gratz stuff in it, I hope, for the Gratz lore that's involved with Tasha.
Yeah, what are we hoping is in this before I even crack it?
Okay. I have tried to stay spoiler free as I can. Now, I do know that there's new new class options, new game mechanic stuff. There's some breakdowns on session 0. I know that stuff is in it. I don't know what it entails.
The only thing that I know that's of particular interest to me, because I've had 9 people message us, is, did you know that they've got a mimic colony thing in here?
I'm sorry, what?
I know, right? So I'm excited to get to that.
Okay, so what I really want there to be is I want there to be a further flavoring of Tasha and what she means to Forgotten Realms lore.
I expect that we're going to get something along the lines of the little inserts and excerpts from Volo and Xanathar and Mordenkainen.
Yes, yeah.
So
There's going to be like little things in Tasha's voice throughout this, which, yes, please. I want to see more of Tasha in D&D. I'm kind of bummed that it's so thin a book.
Yeah, but Xanathar's is not a big book either. It is.
Xanathar's is twice that size.
Oh, it can't be twice that size.
Do you want me to go over to my shelf and get Xanathar's and we'll compare size, Adam?
Well, yes. Oh, I'm cracking open the book. Oh, it smells like a new book.
One second. No, let me compare size.
Yeah.
Sorry for the mic because I'm standing up next to it.
No,
they're like pretty much identical. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. No, we're just used to having campaign modules like Rime of the Frost
Maiden. You could bludgeon a horse, like middle-aged adult with it. Like this. I mean, this wouldn't hurt a toddler.
So, well, bring one of your kids in. Let's test it out. So here we go. What wonderful witchery is this? The wizard Tasha, whose great works include the spell Tasha's Hideous Laughter, has gathered bits and bobs of precious lore during her illustrious career as an adventurer. Her enemies wouldn't want these treasured secrets scattered across the multiverse, so in defiance, she's collected and codified these tidbits for the enrichment of us all. So that's fun flavor right there.
Get us some witch lore.
Baked into Cauldron. Baked into this book.
I'm surprised you didn't jump on my witch lore. Which lore? That lore.
Baked into this book are rules options for all the character classes the player's handbook, including new subclasses. Thrown in for good measure is the Artificer class, a master of magical invention, and this witch's brew wouldn't be complete without its new artifacts, spellbook options, spells for both player characters and monsters, magical tattoos, group patrons, and other tasty goodies.
Like Eye of Newt. Again, a witch joke.
Tasha has never been shy about sharing her keen insights, and this book is sprinkled with the Archmage's musings on everything from her wizardly rivals to the nature of the multiverse. Herein, she offers a taste of the great power that awaits adventurers everywhere. Do you like the title Cauldron of Everything?
I mean, Tasha's a witch. Yay!
Every time that I think about a cauldron, I mean, you think witches with cauldrons, but I always think about the Macbeth witches.
The Macbeth witches are basically the Fates.
Yeah, but like they're supposed to be over like a cauldron. Like and I don't know why. That's the first thing I come to. Every time I hear cauldron, I think of the fucking rhyme. The bubble, toilet trouble.
Cauldron burn and cauldron bubble.
That is not my version of it. Bubble, toilet trouble.
Oh, toilet trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Made a stinking Decker double.
God damn.
All right, I'm going to crack it open. Oh, listen to that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Do it again, but slower.
There's a little flying cauldron on the front page of it. That's cool. I'm going to do the
disclaimer and the credits page.
Yeah. So, this book contains some content that originally appeared in Sword Coast Adventures Guide, Guildmaster Guide to Ravnica, Eberron, Rising from the Last War, and Mythic Odysseys of Theros. So it's good that they're bringing in these alternative campaign settings.
It's a bit of a compendium book.
Yeah, well, I mean, which is what it should be. I really do like the artwork so far. That both of the covers are really nice. The disclaimer. Contained herein are the observations of the Archmage Tasha, later known as the Witch Queen, and then Igwilv.
Witch Queen?
Yep.
That queen?
That queen.
Okay.
She is one of the greatest wizards in the history of the multiverse.
I mean...
We fear there is an incantation hidden within these notes and have therefore bound this tome with powerful wards. If you are reading this, the first ward has already been broken. If you dare read any further, we cannot guarantee the safety of your soul or that you won't open a portal to another plane of existence. If a portal does appear, pray that nothing worse than Tasha's mother, Baba Yaga, appears. And if the mother of hags arrives, be sure to offer only praises of her daughter, or offer muffins. She loves muffins.
I would like you to know I had to bite my tongue very many times through that with really bad jokes. Like...
Which jokes?
Oh, haha, those jokes. This is going to be a constant thread. Yeah. I was going to ask, if it's bound with wards, is Robin here? The Dick Ward?
It's Burt Ward.
Hey, Burt Ward. Oh, sorry. Right, it's Dick because he's Dick Grayson.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I don't do jokes on the podcast.
That's why.
Because they're bad.
Okay. Here.
All right, my turn. I'm going to do the table of contents.
Yep.
All right, so first thing you're going to go through is you're going to hit your character options, which is going to have some background things by the title customizing your origin. Then we're going to break down some class options for Artificers, Barbarians, Bards, Clerics, Druids, Fighters, Monks, Paladins, Rangers, Rogues, Sorcerers, Warlocks, and Wizards. And, by the looks of this, some tasty new feats.
All right.
I'm on board.
That's not my fetish. I'm not about the feats fetish.
You're not a feats fetish?
No.
There are group patrons and how they work, which look also like organizations, not necessarily
So the group
beings.
patrons are probably pulled right out of Eberron, where they have group patrons in there. Dave and I talk about that in the Touring the Multiverse episode.
There's also being your own patron is in this as well.
That might be a bit of a holdover from, or at least inspired by Acquisitions Incorporated.
Oh, possibly, yep. Then there's the magical miscellany. So this is where you're going to get a bunch of new spells, including a handsome amount of new summoning spells. A couple new Tasha's named spells, which is great because up until this point we've had Tasha's Hideous Laughter. And that's it. There's creating and personalizing spells, and then a bunch of new magic items, including tattoos, books, branches, the Demonomicon of Igwilliv, and yeah. And then finally some Dungeon Master tools where it'll go over Session 0. Thank you for listening to the podcast, Wizards of the Coast. Sponsor us.
Yeah.
Sidekicks, which look like some useful NPCs to add to yourself.
Sure.
How to parlay with monsters. Supernatural regions, which is some further realms of and dimensional stuff by the looks of it. Fun, magical, environmental threats, some natural threats, puzzles, with some puzzle examples.
Cool. I'd hand it back. Thank you, Dan. Using this book, what you'll find within. Chapter 1 brims with new features and subclasses. Chapter 2 contains patrons. Chapter 3 sparkles with new magical options, including spells, spellbooks, artifacts, and tattoos. Available both for player and monster use.
Ooh.
And Chapter 4 contains various rules that a DM may incorporate into a campaign. It says here, it's all optional. Everything in this book is optional. Each group, guided by the DM, decides which of these options, if any, to incorporate into a campaign. They leaned hard and heavy into this in early publication in 5th edition. You look at all the variant rules that appear in the 3 core books.
Yeah.
And then they
Like feats themselves are variant.
And they seem to have abandoned that until this. Right? When you start to read all of the stuff that happens in like Curse of Strahd or, the Rise of Tiamat and stuff, they tend not to...
They're not making it, they're not bringing it out into light as much. They've said these are optional, but they're not like, these are optional. No, guys, they're optional.
Okay, so then there's a little section here called Unearthed Arcana. Much of the material in this book originally appeared in Unearthed Arcana, a series of online articles we published to explore rules that might officially become part of the game. Some offerings don't end up resonating with fans and are set aside. The Unearthed Arcana material is inspired by options in the following chapters, as well as received and, thanks to feedback from thousands of D&D fans, has been refined into the official forms presented here.
Cool.
So it pretty much says the UA shit is now
Not
defunct.
Well, the UA shit is never on board unless you have a party that is very willing to deal with some potentially game-breaking mechanics.
I guess this just means that this is now Adventure League
compatible. Yeah, that tracks.
There's 10 rules to remember. I'm not going to read them, the text, but here we go. Using this book includes the following 10 rules. 1. The DM adjudicates the rules.
Yep.
2. Exceptions supersede general rules.
Okay.
3. Advantage and disadvantage.
Okay.
4. Reaction timing.
Okay.
5. Proficiency bonus, so it gets into that.
Yep.
6. Bonus action spells.
Okay.
So that one looks like it just breaks down when you can.
I think these are rules to remember when looking at this book specifically. So when you're looking at this book, make sure you look at these, because one of the things I'm going to do here, Adam, as we go through is I'm balancing this against Xanathars, because this feels...
It's very much the next Xanathars.
It's this next Xanathars, right?
The of everything gives you
the
that.
of everything, yeah.
Next is concentration.
Okay.
Temporary hit points.
Yep.
It pretty much just says that they aren't cumulative.
Yep.
Round down.
Okay.
And have fun.
Oh, have fun's in there, hey?
Yep.
Okay. I would like to point out the 10 rules to remember are in Xanathars as well. Except The DM adjudicates the rules is not part of the 10 things to remember. It is its own tab above it.
Okay.
So, again...
What got dropped then?
Friends, well, 1 second. Friends, the DM adjudicates the rules is the most important rule in D&D.
Well, I'd argue that have fun is.
Have fun, yes. But like when it comes to like the mechanical side of D&D,
Yep.
like remember the DM is the one who says whether something works or doesn't.
Yep.
That's just the way it is. Yours were in a weird order, but like exceptions supersede general rules. Yeah, that's in here. Round down is next for me.
Yep.
Where you round down, advantages, combining different effects is in mine.
Yeah, okay, it's not in this one.
Which is not in yours, which is about like when you cast Bless and still under the effect of an earlier Bless, you only gain the one casting of it, stuff like that. Reaction timing is in this, which it was in yours.
Yep.
As well, I believe. And resistance and vulnerability are mentioned here, which are not in yours.
No.
So yours had have fun, mine doesn't. So Tasha's is about having fun. Xanathar's about getting the fucking game right.
Sure.
Cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So there's also a big blurb from Tasha herself talking to you, but I'm going to let if you buy the book.
Honestly, buy the book. Look at it. It's something I've seen in Volos and Mordenkainen's, like the new 5e books where they come out with a blanks guide or blanks something of something.
Yeah.
It's almost always written in the voice of that main character.
Yeah.
And I love reading those little tidbits of information there. I mean...
This is a big letter to the reader.
This is a big letter to the reader, which is nice. Okay, so chapter 1 here, we have character options. It shows a little picture of Tasha, who has her pointed witch hat.
That is a big picture.
It is a big picture. It has Tasha with Gratzt in the bottom corner. That 100% is Gratzt. Sitting outside of Baba Yaga's hut, reading a book by Fairylight.
So you're really getting the flavor here of Tasha.
You're getting the flavor of Tasha. Okay, so character options straight off the bat. At first level, you choose various aspects to your character, blah, blah, blah. That all tracks. It goes over the basics of ability score increases, of languages.
No, customizing your origin.
Customizing your origin?
It's not backgrounds.
Sorry. Yeah, no, customizing your origin isn't backgrounds. It's just telling you what to do when you're starting.
Sure.
Right? Like, when you start a character, here's the things you do. So, the origin of your paper sheet. This is where it is.
This is useful to have. I felt like that was missing in the player's handbook.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it makes sense. Basically it's breaking down the basic rules of the game. It's kind of like a refresher for the DMG. You have a breakdown into proficiencies. And
I feel like proficiencies is going to be a big fucking deal in this book, and so I'm not surprised they add that.
Yeah, it's funny. Some races and sub-races grant proficiencies. These proficiencies are usually cultural, and your character may not have... Oh, wait a minute, Adam. I'm now understanding this. Customizing your origin. It says, at first level, you choose various aspects of your character, including blank. These are now customizable. Ability score increases. Whatever race you choose in D&D, you get a trait called an ability score. This increase reflects the archetypal excellence of D&D. So for example, if you're a dwarf, you get the bonuses to Constitution and blah, 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 blah. This increase doesn't apply to every dwarf, just to dwarf adventurers, and exists to reinforce the archetype. So if you like for your character to follow your own path, it says here in Tasha's, you can ignore your ability score increase trait and assign ability score increases tailored to your character. So it is going to tell you how to modify your ability score increases, including your languages as well. But it's all under that whole, you can't increase an ability score above 20, and tells you kind of how to swap it out. You could do that with languages if it makes more sense with your character origin.
To have like a regional language as opposed to it. Yeah.
To have proficiencies, if your race gives you different proficiencies, than you really think fit your character, this tells you how to swap those out. This tells you how to customize your races on a granular level.
Yeah, I hate that and I will never do it. I won't allow it at my table. Absolutely not. I understand that this is Wizards of the Coast covering their ass because they got a lot of shit about saying that everyone in this race is like this. I get that. I'm glad that they're being all-inclusive. This encourages min-maxing in a situation that has bounded accuracy and action economy that directly counteracts min-maxing, so I don't like this. This is going to make broken builds. Also, all of the bullshit theory crafting that you see on Reddit and on the special builds
is pretty much out of the window if you imply this.
Yeah, and so this is you saying, you know what? You can choose whether your rook or bishop moves diagonally. You do your own thing. And I'm like, no, that's not the game I signed up to play.
I'm with you on that.
So I like that they've done this. I think that it's going to be interesting for some people. It's not for my table.
I completely agree. And this goes all the way through from the personality of, I think this is what they're doing to balance out the idea that all orcs are evil or all drow are evil that they have pushed up against in light of our cultural, the changes in culture that we're seeing.
Yep.
Right?
That's I agree. That is exactly what this is. This is them covering their ass and say, oh, no, we're inclusive. Culturally, it's this because of their kingdoms.
Yeah.
Not because of the fact that this race inherently has an evil or they're always strong. Like, they have got to get away from the idea of dark elves.
I agree. The one thing I think this does do as well is this removes the requirement of, say, blade dancers needing to be an elf or, what are they?
Blade singers?
Blade singers needing to be elves and...
They absolutely get rid of that in this book.
Yeah. Same with the dwarf barbarian.
That one is still, that doesn't get...
this here lets you waive that if you want.
Does it specifically say, like...
I don't think it calls that out specifically, but it does say, like, the description of a race might suggest various things about behavior or personality. You may ignore that.
No. But, I mean, when it comes to the subclasses, there are really only two that are subclass, or that are race dependent. The Blade Singer and the, what's it called?
The Barbarian. The Dwarf Barbarian.
Yeah, the Battle...
The Battle Berserk? No, the Battle...
I don't remember.
Rager.
Battle Rager. There it is, yeah. So, this reprints the Blade Singer, but not the Battle Rager.
Oh, okay.
So the Blade Singer does get a reprint without that.
We'll get to that when we get to Wizards. Now, it does give you the ability to change skills if you want, and it just details how to do that, as well as changing your subclass.
And here we go. It's time for crazy power creep bullshit.
Yeah. With your DM's approval, you could change your subclass.
Just in the middle of...
when you would normally gain a new subclass feature, and details how to do that, including the training time or a sudden change in the character. So it's got rules for how to train into new abilities within your subclass. Say if you're Oath of Devotion and you want to pick up an ability in Oath of Redemption, it kind of covers that as well. How to train into it and how to deal with a sudden change into it.
Strong dislike.
I'm interested to see what the rules actually are before we move on, but that is in this book.
Yeah, but I strongly dislike it because what's the point of having subclasses then?
I think it's a response. I agree with you. I'm a little bit more open minded to it just because I have played in campaigns that were Pathfinder and are all about character customization. This opens up the doors to a little bit of customization for the groups that are about that. For our groups, which are less about the character customization and more about the narrative building, I mean, yeah, I could. It's okay if you not put this in your game, but I could see the attraction to this.
Sure.
Okay, it's not a new chapter,
but it's a massive portion.
But it's a new thing. Adam, would you like to go over the Artificer?
Oh, are we going to swap back and forth for every class?
I think that's what we should do.
Okay, well, the Artificer's in here and it also gets an Armorer.
Oh, is that all we're going to do?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say without getting really granular about this. I know that the Artificer is essentially just a direct reprint.
It details tinkering. It details all that.
All the infusions and everything else. This is a reprint from Eberron. And it gives you the Alchemist. It also gives you the Artillerist and the Battlesmith. But it also adds a new one called Armorer. And the basic idea of this one is that you... essentially build like a second skin. It's an Iron Man suit.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You literally bond with the armor, becoming one with it.
Okay.
And it cannot be taken off of your body and your helmet opens and closes.
It's an Iron Man suit.
It's an Iron Man suit. It's its own unique thing. You get armor spells like Magic Missile, Thunder Wave, Lightning Bolt, Fire Shield, Wall of Force. It's an Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
You don't get Fly, which is the big thing. Otherwise, it would be the Iron Man suit. So there's a lot in here. There's a few notes from Tasha, like the Artillerist. Some Artificers ask the hard questions. Couldn't there be even more collateral damage? So, for the
Very
Artillerist.
nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
It's got a lot of really cool artwork on this as well that expands, because the artwork in Eberron for the Artificer was a little weak. It didn't give you all of the different flavors of it.
Yeah, it had the one with like the Steel Defender, and that was it.
And so we get a different kind of Artillerist artwork. We get the armor artwork, and a gnome battlesmith with a steel defender that looks like a bear. So it's not just the dog that it implied the first time around. You also get a list of different homunculus servants that are listed here, including that flying cauldron from the front page.
Yeah.
As well, and a really cool, what looks like a flying feline creature. Like, you can think outside the box on this, which is really neat. They've got all of the replicable items for 2nd level, 6th level, 10th level, and 14th level. And then it moves on to Barbarian, Dan.
I'll take the Barbarian. Thank you very much.
I bet you will.
So Barbarian, I mean, it's same thing with
Yeah, all of the new, they just started to say it's the same thing and they got distracted. So the thing with each of these classes are you get optional class features now.
And these let you swap from, or these just are added on top? Unlike the features in the player's handbook, you don't gain these features automatically. You have to consult with your DM whether you gain the feature. Okay. So there's a couple there's a 3rd level and a 7th level feature here.
Yeah, and we will go through them in future Barbarian episodes. Obviously, we're going to be digging more into classes when the time comes around.
I mean, kind of like we've done with Xanathars. There's these new options. So yeah. There's a new path, which is the Path of the Beast. Again, we will break this down later. But the little thing is you have to respect anyone who lets their inner beast out for a brisk jog and hearty throat ripping.
I like it.
Thanks, Tasha. As well as the Pact of Wild Magic. I kind of just want to read Tasha's little glibs at the beginning of these things.
Sorry, the Path of Wild Magic.
You said
Pact.
Path of Wild Magic, which is, I don't recommend letting magic take the reins, but I'm not your mom. Live deliciously, Tasha.
So, hold on. So,
it's a wild magic barbarian.
Which is nuts because rages and spells do not go hand in hand. So I'm really curious to see what this has to offer.
The character art is a wood elf barbarian with like a gleeful look on their face. So
cool.
Yeah. Next along the line, hey, Bard. This is kind of fitting our what we like to play.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be Cleric next and go back and forth, sure.
You'll be Druid. You love Druids.
I've actually come around on Druids. So, optional class features include additional Bard spells, as well as a magical inspiration, which includes your Bardic Inspiration die. There's also Bardic Versatility.
Are these the optional rules?
Yeah, which is the 4th level Bard feature. There's a College of Creation.
Okay. Is it like a summoning college, basically? Like the Conjuring College? The Conjuring of Creatures College?
Well, there's just a whole lot of blah, 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 bards singing nonsense. They draw on the primeval
so
song.
It's a bard, okay.
Yeah,
there's a lot of blah, blah, blah bard nonsense. Check.
They draw on the primeval song through dance, music, and poetry, and their teachers share this lesson. Before the sun and the moon, okay, there's more blah, blah, blah. Dwarven bullshit. Or no. Now we get into dwarven bullshit. Dwarves and gnomes often encourage their bards to become students of the Song of Creation.
I like the idea that they have, like, they're furthering that lore that bards tap into the lyrical essence of magic.
Yeah, what these ones specifically are is tapping into the lyrical aspect of the creation of the first dragons and gods.
Ooh.
So that's kind of their...
So when it's the College of Creation, it's not the college of, like, here's a pie. It's more like, here's how the world started.
Like the creation myth, not creating something.
That's cool.
Yep. And then, of course, there's a reprint of the College of Eloquence from Theros.
So could you say that the Bard of the College of Creation is about the Big Bang?
Here you go, Dan. Talk about clerics.
Big bet, like doing it. So clerics get an optional class feature.
Fuck.
I mean, they get additional spells and the ability to harness divine power, which is really. I mean,
I get it. Witches, Tasha. Gotcha.
They get cantrip versatility, which I believe all full spellcasters are going to be getting, which is the ability to change your cantrips.
Boo.
But it only happens when you gain levels. It's not like you wake up after a long rest.
Well, that's a little bit better.
Yeah.
I know that some are more or less versatile as you go, but like, I don't know, man. Having to choose the non-combat ones really adds a specific flavor. You start looking for how to use it.
I think the later you get in the game, the more you'll choose the non-combat ones because they'll become useless with your combat spells.
Unless you're a warlock.
Yeah. Then you get this thing called Blessed Strikes, which we'll get to that later.
We'll cover this in future episodes.
You get the Order Domain. Finally, a whole faith about coloring inside the lines.
But the Order Domain is out of Ravnica.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a reprint. What else do we
So
get?
you get the Peace Domain, Order and Peace.
So Peace is a new one.
Yeah.
What's the flavor on Peace?
Have these peaceful clerics even considered that they're subverting the most holy system, one where bad decisions coincide with the teaching power of pain?
Huh.
So Tasha's got some opinions.
Right?
And yeah, they look like, I mean, their spells, Heroism, Sanctuary, Aid, Warding, Bond, Beacon of Hope, Sending. These guys are...
This is like the Life Cleric without the healing? Like, these are the goody two-shoes?
Oh, yes, I would say so. These guys don't get the heavy armor proficiency.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And then there is the Twilight Domain.
Ooh.
Which I
King Jacob.
I can't believe I'm writing. I think it's a different kind of Twilight there, Adam.
Okay.
I can't believe I'm writing this, but I think I could get behind a faith focused on moonlighting and evening wear. Tasha. Yeah, these guys look like they are about the transition time of light to darkness.
Dear Wizards, you need to run a Tasha Twitter account. I would follow that shit.
Oh, in an instant.
Yeah.
Okay, bunch of new things for Twilight Domain and Druids.
So, Druids get new additional spells. You get a Wild Companion. Hey, you gain the ability to summon a spirit that assumes an animal form. Finally, for Druids. You get cantrip versatility. I think
it looks like,
standard.
Remember I said it looks like all classes are going to get this.
Yeah. So Circle of Spores gets a reprint.
Okay, yeah.
So that's good.
When would that came out early?
Well, no, that's Ravnica.
Okay.
And then Circle of Stars is a new one. Which is, what about the dark places between the stars? Don't you realize that's where the good stuff is? That's
oh my god, these are your, like, weird, creepy druids, aren't they?
They draw on the powers, no, these guys draw on the power of starlight. Just Tasha kind of ripping on them a bit.
Oh, okay.
So you get things like, well, the name of the things are Star Map, Starry Form, Cosmic Omen, Twinkling Constellations. So, like, you're getting the idea that you're
a Kalishtar.
I think that they would go hand in hand. You're getting things like Guidance and Guiding Bolt and stuff with this.
Okay.
So, then there's Circle of Wildfire.
Huh?
Yeah.
So you're Cersei Lannister.
They understand that destruction is sometimes the precursor of creation. So this is what the forest fire promotes later growth, so on and so forth. The number one complaint about the Tasha's book online is that they took away Fireball as a spell for the Circle of Wildfire. It was in the UA and it isn't now.
That makes no sense why the Circle of Wildfire wouldn't have Fireball.
It has Burning Hands, Cure Wounds, Flaming Sphere, Scorching Ray, Plant Growth, Revivify, Aura of Life, Fire Shield, Flame Strike, and Mass Cure Wounds. So there's some Healy stuff. Plant Growth and Revivify makes some sense. I think all the other ones light shit on fire, though. And Fireball doesn't.
Fireball doesn't. Yeah, that's right.
So that's...
I guess that tracks. That would make sense. Why?
Yeah. You also get a Wildfire Spirit. So you get a small elemental that follows you around.
And honestly, friends, just get a wand of Fireball.
Yeah, or a necklace of. They're pretty standard. Like,
right.
Or, hey, you know what? Why don't you just multi-class? You're going to fucking do it anyway. And hey, you can swap out spells whenever you want, according to this. So...
I mean, yes, according to this, yes. I'm starting to see why that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right, next are fighters, because of course they are. We get new fighting style options, which, blind fighting, interception, superior technique.
Are these new maneuvers?
These are new fighting style options. You get these at first level with your fighting style.
So like with your... archery and your great weapon.
Yeah, kind of, right?
Okay.
Like, and holy crap, these are really good.
Power creep. Okay, yes.
It's power creep. Moving on. Thrown weapon fighting is one of them.
Finally, we get to talk about thrown weapons. Hold on, let me throw this knife at you.
No. Also, unarmed fighting.
That's a monk, my friends.
Pretty much.
Okay. What else you got?
You get new options for martial versatility as well, which basically lets you swap fighting styles if you want.
Sure.
Okay. You get new maneuver options, which are available to your battle masters. I'm annoyed because I just played one to 12th level, and I would have liked some of these, and there's a lot.
You just played one to 20th level.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you got 12
I got to 12 levels in with them. So, I mean, I would love to have seen some of these things. Some of them look pretty cool, which is like dexterity-based stuff, which is nice. And some stuff that makes sense it would have, like grappling strike and quick toss.
Sure.
Yeah.
You think that'd be a bard maneuver?
That's no, well,
Like quick toss?
yeah. Oh, God, the sound effect was not necessary. Okay, so you have Adam.
You have Adam.
You have your
Ladies and
Psy
gentlemen, here on
Warrior.
Your Psy... Oh, fuck off.
This is your
Is this just Psychic Warrior nonsense?
brains over brawn, mind over matter. These canny warriors rightly answer, why not both? I'm happy that these are here because they seem like an int-based fighter again, which we needed.
Is there an int? Is it actually int based, or does it just imply that?
I think it's well. 1 second, let me scan through.
That sounds like it's a flavor implication and not.
No, it's int-based.
Is it?
You things happen based on the. You can use this a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier.
All right. Well, there we go. I'm
Yep.
glad intelligence is getting more of a.
And there's a lot of it that involves your intelligence modifier.
Good. Okay. Well, I like that. I'm not a fan of psionics in D&D in the first place.
What, you don't want your fighter to have a telekinetic leap ability or a telekinetic thrust ability?
I'm sorry. Did you just say Jedi? Because that's what that sounds like to me.
You don't say. Okay, just real quick with the Cyanite, it feels a lot like not necessarily a
I know you're saying
fighter.
cyanite, but it sounds like you're saying cyanide every time.
Okay, Psy Warrior, because it's not
There we go.
Cyanite,
There
it's
you go.
Psy Warrior.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like a Jedi, but it also feels a lot like just a telekinetic fighter.
Sure.
Not necessarily like psychic imposing the will in your mind. Like these guys might not be able to read your mind.
I'm talking Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan at the beginning of Phantom Menace, running around just pushing droids over and shit.
Yeah, that's going to be what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you get Rune Knights.
Yeah.
Which are basically fighters who add runes onto their weapons to further their power. They're not necessarily spellcasters, but they get a number of runes they use. It's a really cool, interesting looking new mechanical system for fighters that is in here.
So their weapons are imbued and stuff?
Yeah, you're researching ancient arts and drawing runes. It's okay to just say you want to be a witch.
Aw, Tasha.
Aw, Tasha. So yeah, you get like runes, and a lot of it looks like it has a bit of a giant feel to it as well, like the old magic of giants.
Yeah, that's cool because giants are really rune based. So
yeah,
I like that.
So you get Rune Carver, where you get runes, which add some things. Yeah, that goes all the way along. You get builds for battle masters.
What's that?
They are straight up builds, which give you the fighting style, maneuvers, and feats with different Battlemaster builds for like archers, gladiators, duelists, lancers, outriders, pugilists.
So it's more about
They're suggested Battlemaster builds. They're just suggested Battlemaster builds.
that's pretty cool. I like that. So when you want to play a pugilist or you want to play an archer specifically,
It makes it easy to figure out which ones are kind of flavored towards your build, but at the same time, friends, it's 3 pages worth of stuff. Just read it and build it yourself. I don't like this. I don't like when they have suggested builds. They don't have it anywhere else in any of the other classes we've seen so far. They just have it here.
They do in the player's handbook. They've got the how to build, the quick build guide at the beginning of every single class.
Then why isn't there some suggested builds for other classes? So far, just Battlemaster gets it.
Yeah, but you want to know why? Is I feel like you have enough people in the online community. I think this is a response to the online community ranting and bitching about how come we don't have a tavern brawler or a boxer, or how come we don't have an archer build? We have the arcane archer, but what about someone who can just shoot arrows? And so it's this fighter is, you get so much more than that. You get bodyguard, hoplite.
There's like a dozen.
Outrider, yeah. Honestly, I don't see the problem in that to point someone in the direction. So that
Have it for other classes would be my thing then.
Yeah, but a lot of this stuff it exists in real life, like shock trooper, skirmisher, strategist.
I think part of the reason is because Battlemaster is so varied in what options you could get because of maneuvers you want. It's a little intensive.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you're playing a Battlemaster, we said it in the Fighters episode, you're probably a little bit more of an experienced player anyways.
Yeah, but you're not necessarily going to be. I like this for new players just to give them kind of a direction. And frankly, it's 2 pages. It's really a page and a half. I don't mind them taking the time out to do this.
Okay. I like the dwarf with the short beard.
That's not a dwarf, that's a dude.
I think it's a dwarf.
I think you're wrong. Monk. You get, some sort of dedicated weapon, a key-fueled attack. Pretty sure they were all key-fueled. Quickened healing and focused aim. Okay,
Ooh.
so...
Quickened healing.
2 key points, and then you roll a martial arts die, whatever that is.
Oh, that's your martial arts damage.
Sure. Then you have the Way of Mercy, which it says, Plague Doctor. Some looks never go out of style. And sure enough, the picture has a little Plague Doctor mask on the front of it.
How fitting for our current world.
There are...
It depends on what it does, Adam. I might take that back. What kind of mercy are we talking about?
They learn to manipulate the life force of others to bring aid to those in need. They're wandering physicians to the poor and hurt. However, to those beyond their help, they bring a swift end as an act of mercy. So they euthanize. They're doctors that will euthanize.
Okay, that's really cool because so far clerics are really the only healer. Even druids get access to it, but they're not really a healer class.
Yeah, you get Divine Soul, which gets some access to it, but sure.
But this feels like a monk healer. That tracks, man. It does.
And then you get Way of the Astral Self.
Yeah, fuck this thing.
Which is just,
Is this the one that gives you 18 astral arms?
There is Arms of the Astral Self in
God,
here.
I hate that.
Why?
Well, it is. We have harped on this game for so many many episodes.
You just get your 2 additional arms. It's just your astral body.
Yes, but that's 2 additional attacks, which increases the amount of action economy that your monk's putting out there. Your monk's turns already take forever trying to figure out, am I flurrying? Am I not flurrying? How many hits do I get if I flurry? It's just a way to take longer.
It costs you key points.
Which you get 1 a level, basically.
These arms get 10-foot reach.
Yeah. It's also a little bit of power bloat. Monks are already powerful. Can you imagine stunning at a 10-foot reach, Adam?
Yep.
I don't like the Astral Self Monk.
You just think it's overpowered?
I think it's overpowered.
Yeah, we will dig into this in the future Monks episode. But, I don't know. It seems really flavorful, though. And it's nice to see a Dragonborn in the artwork that is not in full plate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So, up next is Dan's probable favorite.
Hey, Paladins. That's a Paladin. You get additional spells.
I do?
If you're a Paladin. You're
Sure.
not a Paladin. You don't get additional spells.
Hey.
You get additional You get fighting style options that are flavored specifically for Paladin.
Oh, nice. So it doesn't just overlap with fighter?
It does. There's blind fighting and interception here, which are both on the fighting one, but you get Blessed Warrior, which gives you additional cantrips.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay. Which Paladins don't get cantrips.
Yeah.
So this is awesome. I like this.
They don't get cantrips because they're balanced to not have them.
But this replaces the fighting style.
Oh, does it?
Right? This is part of the fighting style option. So you're taking 2 cantrips instead of Great Weapon Master or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You have the ability to harness your divine power, which is the same as the other classes. You could spend your channel divinities to do some stuff. Gives you more options for channel divinities, and martial versatility lets you retrain fighting styles if you want. So those are your options.
Sure.
Then you get new oaths. You get your Oath of Glory, which is a reprint from Theros. You're it. You're the winner of the Cosmic Fortune Lottery. Oh, and you're going to tell absolutely everyone about it? Just great. Wizards, make a Tasha Twitter account. That'd be great. It's just a reprint. Everything looks the same. You get the Oath of the Watchers, which looks new.
Yep.
That doesn't sound like I've seen that one before. These paladins aren't at all up to what I expected. Worse, they send home your party's best guests. So these guys look like they are there to protect the mortal realms from extraplanar creatures.
Yeah, okay, we were kind of missing that.
I mean, you
like
have
that.
the Horizon Walker Ranger.
Yeah, but that was really it.
I think this is fitting that.
For Paladins, yeah, I like
and,
that.
I mean...
I feel like there was a Cleric domain somewhere in there that was like that too, but...
Probably.
I can't, off the top of my head, think of one.
Yeah, new tenants, new channel divinity options. I mean, it's a Paladin subclass. The art is beautiful of a female dwarf, which we don't see a lot of art of.
All right, you need to calm down. I know about your fetish for female dwarves.
I just like female dwarves. Don't kink shame me.
Oh, that one, there's so many other
Ranger.
shames that you can have. Yeah.
Ranger.
Okay, so your optional class features Deft Explorer, which replaces the Natural Explorer feature. You get a bunch of different options there, which is actually looks more versatile. Favored Foe, which replaces your favorite enemy and works with Foe Slayer.
Okay.
So,
I would just swap the two out right away. Like, all Rangers across the board, just swap that.
it depends. We'll dive into it in a future episode. Again, additional Ranger spells. Finally, Entangle is something that you get at first level, which
It just makes sense.
it should have been from the very beginning. But they get Revivify, Summon Fey, and Summon Elemental, which are new summoning spells.
That fits for the flavor of Rangers.
Yep. And there's some stuff in here that they just should have had the whole time. So,
I love that they get Revivify now.
yeah. Fighting style option, Blind Fighting, Druidic Warrior, and Thrown Weapon. Thrown Weapon makes a lot of fucking sense for a Ranger. Mm-hmm. You get a Spellcasting Focus now.
Really?
Yeah, Rangers didn't have a focus before, right?
Yeah.
And then they get Primal Awareness, which replaces the Primeval Awareness. So that's new and interesting as well. And then there's, holy shit, they get so much more. Martial Versatility.
I think it's because they're
Nature's
addressing.
Veil.
I think that they're addressing the fact that Rangers, based off the main book, are weak, and this is going to put a lot of the errata that they've had in since the release of the game. Really,
Yeah.
right?
That's so good. Now you get Fey Wanderer as one of your subclasses, and you get Swarm Keeper.
Swarm Keeper sounds cool.
Swarm Keeper is the one that got a lot of attention online. Fey Wanderer has gotten some as well. Fey Wanderer is obviously Fey bullshit.
I have a question. If they're going to put this much work into like new Fey bullshit and new Fey stuff, are they going to address the fact that like the Archfey patron is so weak?
I don't know, because we're not dealing with that. Holy shit. Okay, so sorry, I flipped the page. It's all the Swarm Keeper is all the Beastmaster gets a beast.
Yeah,
the Swarm Keeper gets swarms.
Cool.
So there's
also potentially incredibly overpowered.
Yeah, like there's a lot of neat stuff. You get Swarm Keeper spells: Fairy Fire, Mage Hand, Web, Gaseous Form, Insect Plague.
We talked about this with Gloomstalker and Horizon Walker. Like they tended to overcorrect with the weakness of the stock Ranger with their subclasses. They overcorrected. I think they're keeping up the trend here.
I don't know. It really depends on how this breaks down.
Swarms are powerful, man.
Yeah, but I wonder how it's going to play against the original stock Ranger versus this new Ranger that they're giving all these variants for as well, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of options here, and as you become more and more customizable, and there are more and more exceptions to rules and stuff, it's harder to say whether or not something is inherently overpowered, or if we just automatically assume that people are going for the most powerful.
I guess that's true. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about the idea of this bonded accuracy that D&D has, where there's this kind of hard limit to ability. So, playing within that to this, I mean, we really have to break the habit, and I think this is a good time to mention this. We have to break the habit of striving towards the 20 in your stat, because the 20 means you're superhuman. You're the best in that stat possible.
Honestly,
just because
I would rather have 3 18s than 120.
I would rather have 2 18s than 120, right? Like, and to that point, I would rather have 4 16s or 3 16s than 120. Yeah. Right? Like it gets exponential like that. And we have.
This gets really creepy when you start talking about your dating life.
I notice I'm not going below a certain point. The thing that really, I think this game needs to break is this desire to have like the absolute mechanical top of everything.
Well, the customizability makes it so that you can strive for that now. That's what this book is for. Look for the top. Look for the most customizable thing. You're going to shed your weaknesses and take all the strengths across the multi-class.
There is so much potential and flavor inside of these characters to build intriguing characters that even as a ranger, you have 16, it's still your main stat, but you have 16 decks? Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
There's enough. You don't need to go crazy over the top with it.
I'm just trying to champion the standard array for character building. The 16, 15, 14, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure. Are you done with your side rant? Can we get back to
Sure.
Texas? Okay, so...
Rangers was going to bring it out of us if any class was.
They fixed the Beastmaster to a degree as well because there's a whole page of Beastmaster companions.
Oh, cool.
Primal Companion replaces the Beastmaster feature, which is the Ranger's Companion. And this is about magically summoning a primal beast of the land, sea, or sky.
Oh.
And you get a stat block for Beast of the Land, Beast of the Sea, or Beast of the Sky. And you essentially flavor it the way you want, the way that you would with a familiar.
Oh, yes, please. That means you have what kind of creature are they? Are they like...
They're armor class...
No, like what type of creature?
Beast.
They're just beasts.
They're just beast. Armor class reach them is 13 plus proficiency bonus. So they level.
Oh.
Yeah. Their hit points are 4 plus, I'm just going to take the sky, 4 plus 4 times your ranger level. It has a number of hit dice.
So it basically gets 5 hit points.
It has a number of hit dice, D6s, equal to your ranger level.
Okay.
And then they've got crazy different speeds as well. And there's a lot to them. Their challenge rating, their proficiency bonus equals yours.
I'm starting to see a problem of this being more physically powerful than a wizard.
I don't think you ever have that problem. Wizards will be the most powerful thing in every game.
Clerics.
Wizards, hand down. You and I have this fight. Wizards are more powerful than clerics. Versatility. Clerics are, two trick ponies.
With the rules in this, I disagree.
And you're allowed to disagree, but let's stay on book.
Rogues. Roguey rogues. They have a picture of a drow rogue, which, looks pretty cool.
No one can see the art, Dan. What's in the chapter, you fuck?
Oh, I'm not just supposed to read it? Okay,
yeah,
anyways.
Jesus.
New options. You have just one new optional class feature, which is called Steady Aim, which is where you could give yourself advantage on the next attack roll on your current turn.
Yeah, okay. Dear Assassins, this is super powerful. The other thing about this as well is it makes it really viable to get your Gloomstalker in on one level of rogue.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll notice that they don't get a whole lot of additional things because rogues are already fucking broken.
Yes.
PSA over.
Funny enough, this Steady Aim is just something you take over and above. It doesn't replace anything, but it balances the fact that you as a rogue who gives the crap about the most about getting advantage are giving yourself advantage on your current turn.
I don't like it.
Okay, anyways. You get roguish archetypes, new ones, which are the Phantom. Collecting the souls of your defeated foes and everyday objects. What a good idea. Though I'd probably need an encyclopedia to hold all my anti-admirers.
If I'm going to create a Phantom, the Phantom, it is going to be named Billy Zane because that was a badass movie.
That was a badass movie. Are you going to wear the purple leotard with the purple...
I'm wearing that underneath my clothes right now, Dan.
It's not so underneath as you think, man.
Hey, check it out.
Oh, God. It's looking at me. Anyways, these rogues...
The Phantom!
These rogues walk the fine line between life and death. Cool. We'll cover them in a future thing, but they look like like a religious assassin, almost.
Sure.
Cool. You got your soul knife. More psionics. I also have the ability to manifest my thoughts in ways that cut people. I call this power words.
Oh, she's after my own heart.
You should get a tattoo of that on your body somewhere.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Tasha might be my spirit animal.
Yeah, I'm 90% certain I've heard you say that multiple times. Soul knives are psionic rogues. You get a psionic blade. You are
psionic.
You are Psylocke from X-Men.
Oh, sure, okay.
Literally, the halfling soul knife art.
Well, it's Psylocke. Yeah.
Is Psylocke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just as a dude and 3 feet tall. Yeah, cool. That's pretty much it.
That brings us to Sorcerers. Now you just get a whole bunch of additional Sorcerer spells. Booming Blade, Green Flame Blade.
Oh, you're getting a little bit of the Warlocks flavor there. I like that. I think they should have had that to begin with.
Yeah, now you're going to get a lot of the new Tasha stuff. Caustic Brew, Mind Whip, Otherworldly Guise. What Not guys. Guise.
Just a bunch of John Cena's walking around. Look at him. He's on otherworldly.
There are otherworldly guys grassed. You get new metamatic options. Seeking spell and transmuted spell.
Ooh.
You also get Sorcerer's Versatility at 4th level and Magical Guidance at 5th level. You get the Aberrant Mind. This is your...
Aberration bloodline?
Yeah. The Tasha note, and it says, tentacles, psychic powers, beings from beyond the stars. One person's bad dream is another person's good time.
Also something you should have tattooed on your body sometimes.
No, that's a Terry fucking thing. But this is all about the far realms.
I'm happy. When we've done the sorcerer episodes, I've said there needs to be an old god sorcerer option.
Yeah, it's also a lot of psionic shit in this one as well. So it's all psychic, otherworldly, far realm
You know what? It's time for that in the edition. And I understand that when the psionics come into the edition, it's kind of the mark of the downfall. But if they handle them well, then it could be a good addition.
You also get Clockwork Soul, which is Modron related.
How does that work?
No,
Adam.
Yeah?
Like, sexually, how does that work?
Well, I wonder if Modrons vibrate, Dan. I rarely tell people I speak Modron because invariably they just want to learn how to curse. So let's get this out of the way now. Lesson 1. Beep, boop, and other slams. Oh, Tasha. Let's be friends.
No.
Yeah, no, it looks like there's a lot of balance and law and order flavoring to this one as well.
Which is weird for the chaotic sorcerer.
The only reason people think sorcerers are chaotic is because of wild
previous
magic.
editions.
No, it's wild magic, right? Like it has nothing to do with the divine soul, the draconic bloodline. They could be very much about order, and they've always had the ability to be that.
I remember you talking about the divine soul and saying that the problem with it didn't fit with the sorcerer feel.
Just be a fucking ASMR. Jesus. Like
I'm interested to actually looking over Clockwork Soul because it feels out of place just from general feel. So Warlocks, because of course I get the Warlocks. You're welcome, Adam. Warlocks, you get a bunch of additional spells, including a new one called Mind Sliver. I wonder what that does. You get a new pact, my friend. Pact of the Talisman.
Sure.
So this is now on top of Pact of the Blade, Pact of the Tome, Pact of the Chain, which is good. They needed other options there.
I agree 100%. I'm kind of sad we only get one. I would have liked to get another 3 just for versatility's sake.
I agree.
But that's fine because you're still multiplying it by the fucking ridiculous number of subclasses.
At 4th level, you also get Eldritch Versatility, which lets you replace things, as we've seen the versatility in other in quotations, casters. You get new invocations, which are not just about Pact of the Talisman. You get a new Pact of the Tome feature, a couple new Pact of the Tome features, a couple new Pact of the Talisman features, a couple new Pact of the Chain features.
No Blade, huh?
Does not look like there's a new Pact of the Blade, which is okay because really it didn't need it.
No, it's fine the way it is.
However, there's a couple really, like I'm just looking at this thinking as a person who likes playing Warlocks, there's a couple really interesting, there's a couple really interesting new invocations here, which is awesome. In terms of otherworldly patrons, you get the Fathomless. I never understood.
That one is all like Krakens and
underwater. It's entities of the ocean, elemental plane of water, and another otherworldly sea.
That's cool.
Okay. I never understood why some people get so jittery about tentacles. Have you ever had octopus nigiri? One of the few pieces of evidence of a benevolent universe. Tasha. I agree.
Oh my god. It's pronounced taco. Tako in actual Japanese.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking delicious.
Yeah. Which gives you a further expanded spell list that, surprise, deals with wind, lightning, and water.
Sure, it's just more elemental nonsense. Yeah. But we didn't really have an elemental warlock, right?
No, we really didn't. You also have the Genie. I know finding housing in Greyhawk is rough, but when Genies and Warlocks... I love how they call it Greyhawk, by the way. But when Genies or Warlocks offer you cheap rent, run.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I like that this is more hinting at Greyhawk. I wonder if we're going to get a Greyhawk
This
setting.
is also featuring heavily more of a Asian feel.
How?
You get to choose your type of genie, which has your Dao, your Genie, your Ifriti, or your Merid.
Yeah, those are standard out of the monster manual.
We haven't had a lot of focus on like that level stuff, and when you bring the Genie into play, you're playing with that Western Asia feel anyways.
Yeah.
So you get an expanded spell list with that, which depends completely on what kind of Genie you choose. So it's giving you a breakdown on what kind of Genie you have. It gives you the vessel your Genie's in. This is really, really cool. And basically it's giving you elemental power based off of the type of Genie. Well, the
different Genies are all different kinds of elementals.
Yeah.
So,
I see the words limited wish, but I'm going to move on. Adam.
Wow, at 14th level.
At 14th level, you get limited wish.
Yep. Okay.
Which was a spell in 3.5, but not in 5th.
Now for the wizard. Of course, you get a whole shit ton of additional wizard spells.
You don't say.
Yeah. And then cantrip formulas at 3rd level.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, I'm actually going to hone in on this one because it's short. You have scribed a set of arcane formulas into your spell book that you can use to formulate a cantrip in your mind. Whenever you finish a long rest and consult those formulas in your spell book, you can replace one wizard cantrip with another cantrip from the wizard spell list.
Oh, it just lets you swap cantrips.
Yeah.
Sure. But per long rest, which is useful.
Per long rest, yeah.
I'm okay with this for wizards. It matches.
It fits for wizards. I'm okay. The arcane traditions are blade singing. I know that it got an update, but I don't know how deep that update goes, so we'll tackle that in a future episode.
Just real brief. In other editions, the difference between sorcerer and wizard has been versatility versus power.
Yep.
Wizards are more versatile. Sorcerers are more powerful in terms of the amount of spells they get.
Yeah.
They are honing in on that a little bit more here by giving you the ability to change things easier. Keep in mind, wizards were the only class so far that had the ability to change spells as well.
Yes.
So this tracks.
So there's blade singing, and we're going to go into the differences in a future episode the next time Wizards comes around on the main podcast. So when faced with the endless onslaught of magical possibilities, many wizards suffer identity crises. Some overcome, some break, and some become sword bards. Thanks, Tasha.
Is that actually what she says?
Yeah.
Some become sword bards?
No, the best one that my favorite so far is Order of Scribes.
Okay.
All right. So this one is, you get Awakened Spellbook, Wizardly Quill, One with the Word.
Hi, we weren't nerdy enough. Let's be nerdier.
Oh, this is such a Dan subclass.
Okay, let's see it.
But hers is, magic is great and all, but have you smelled a book?
We literally sniffed the book at the beginning of
my god. Well, fuck.
Okay, so next is feats. Tasha's going to give us a bunch of new feats. There's a few pages here. From what I'm seeing, it looks like, to be honest, there's going to be some feats that give you like multi-class light. So if you're a fighter, but you want a little sprinkling of Artificer without wanting to go into Artificer, you could take Artificer Initiate, which gives you base.
That's the same thing as the Magic Initiate, right? And the like Martial Adept. And
yeah.
Okay, sure, why not?
Yep. They've also given some other, we got profession style ones, which is like there's a chef one here, which gives you a bunch of bonuses for cooking for your party.
Sure. Okay. I'm not sure how often that comes up, but all right.
Poisoner is here.
It's about time the Poison got a little bit of a spotlight in 5th ed.
Yep. A Skill Expert, which looks like basically a Prodigy feat.
I'm pretty sure we've got like 3 of those already, so sure, why not?
Yeah. I'm skimming through Fighting Initiate, Gunner, Piercer, Poisoner, Shadow Touched, which looks like the yeah. Okay, so there's Fey Touched, Shadow Touched. It looks like there's a little bit of...
Dan, can you show me on the doll where the Fae touched you?
Yeah, right. All over. Telepathic.
Telepathic?
Yeah. You get a feat where you're telepathic.
All right.
You can cast Detect Thoughts and speak telepathically to things.
Sure. You're giving up your ability score increase, so I don't mind that, right?
There's also Telekinetic one, which gives you like Mage Hand and bonus action telekinesis.
Sure.
Cool. But... bunch of new, really, really flavorful new feats. I like them, especially the class ones where you get to sprinkle just a little hint of those classes in there. I would have liked to see in my skimming, I did not see a Barbarian one. I'd like to see a Barbarian light.
Yeah.
But
That's fair. Next we have group patrons. And the picture that we have actually is of Tasha as the Witch Queen.
Cool.
Being prayed to by a bunch of wizards.
Are they cultists?
No, they're wizard pledges.
Cultists.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or I guess warlocks if it's patrons. So the group patrons that we have here, it talks about how patrons work. This is not the same as warlock patrons. So they're using the same words, but
it's more like benefactor.
It really is. So we got this in a really strong flavor in Eberron. And if you listen to the Touring the Multiverse series, Dave and I touched on those in one of the episodes. And it looks like they brought it over and they've kind of enhanced it a little bit here. So it gives you a section on how patrons work. They give you your group assistants. There are perks. There are also assignments that you are given. So this actually is a campaign starter. Cool. Just by having... You know how we did it with the campaign builder where we've got Tremblay and
the
Black Ink Union? They're codifying this.
Cool.
Okay? So
while they listen to the podcast. That's fantastic.
Right?
Sponsor us.
God, we're so good at everything. Feel how hard these nipples are. Anyway.
I'd rather not.
The example patrons I give you are like an academy, an ancient being, an aristocrat, a criminal syndicate, a guild, military force, religious order, or sovereign. So they are different than the ones that you get in Eberron, but they're themed very similarly.
They seem to fit the flow of group patrons and flavor of guilds that we laid out.
Yeah,
in that as well, with like the they could be guilds or they could be merchants guilds or whatever. So
you'll get like a type and a contact. I'm going to go through Academy really quickly, but it's going to be the same.
Okay.
Essentially for all of them. It gives you types of academies and then a D6 table, a boarding school, an arcane enclave, a secret monastery, elite institute, vault of secrets, or a museum of dreams.
Is there a table to randomly roll up all of this? So like, I just envision like a session 0 kind of thing. Everybody's got their character set up. We know what
It's not that deep. There's only really 2 sections that you choose from for your group patron. So it gives you the type of academies. And then it gives you different perks that an academy gives you. Compensation, documentation, research, resources, and training.
Okay.
You get all of that. And it gives you kind of like a DM gets to get some inspiration here, but it's really meant for players to dig in to understand what they're in for.
Okay.
There's also academy contacts. For an academy, it's a harried functionary, a celebrated instructor, a wizened fixture, an infatuated tourist, a spectral fragment, or a distant observer. Then there are...
How is a tourist a benefactor?
A flirtatious visiting scholar perceives your every report and donated discovery as a personal gift.
Oh, so it's a flavor for whatever your like main point of contact is.
Yeah. So these are contacts within the academy, right? That you would be able to pick from in order to determine who manages the relationship between you and the academy.
Okay.
You also have academy factotums. You get another table actually for it, and it essentially sets you up with what kind of role you have within it, and therefore what background you'd get. So a student gets acolyte or guild artisan, a noble and outlander, a sage, or an urchin. If you're a professor, you become an acolyte, an entertainer, a folk hero, noble, or sage background. So it links your backgrounds into your patron as well.
Yep.
Which is really nice. Oh, it actually goes deeper than I thought. And there's academy quests as well.
I'm assuming they're just kind of sample quests that group benefactor would send you on.
Yeah, cryptogeography. You search for proof of a hidden land or that the world isn't structured as commonly assumed.
Okay.
So, like, each one of these is a giant plot hook to run almost a subplot in the background of your homebrew campaign. I have trouble seeing how this can be applied to the actual published modules. The adventure paths themselves don't necessarily lean into this. You'll have to do a little bit extra legwork.
There's going to be some extra legwork to bring like an academy into Tomb of Annihilation.
Yeah. So for an ancient being, you have like an elder dragon, a lich, a bound fiend, a guardian celestial, someone who can't die. So it's the endless, but you're just an immortal, or a primal manifestation. And so there's a bunch there. There's aristocrats like local lords and ambitious entrepreneurs. There's criminal syndicates, magical arms dealers, pirate fleets, things like that. Let me see. There are different guilds.
You're flipping through pages a lot. There's a lot of information here.
There's many pages for each with different tables for each one of them as well. So for different guilds, you have like a Crafters Guild, a Merchant Consortium, Money Changers, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Military forces are for mercenary companies, hordes, planar conscripts.
Ooh.
Right? So there's some neat things. Religious orders are undead hunters, relic collectors, militant inquisitors.
Belongs in a museum.
Right? Sovereigns, village elder, young noble, shipwrecked governor, hidden power. All right? So there's a lot. And then there's being your own patron as well is a section in here.
How does that work?
Oh, okay. Well, it's only a half page, so I'm going to skim this really quickly. For some players, the idea of running a crime syndicate, mercenary company, arcane scholars collection, or other organization is far more exciting than working for someone else. Founding your own organization offers a greater deal of autonomy, though potentially at the cost of support and reliable work. When you're the boss, the perks of belonging to an organization become expenses you have to worry about. When you run your own organization, you see running a business downtime activity described in the DMG.
Okay, cool.
You get things like if the business earns a profit, multiply that profit by 4 plus the number of characters who took part in the downtime activity. So there's a couple of mechanics here.
Okay,
so.
cool. That feels like that entire thing is kind of pulled from Acquisitions Incorporated.
The running a business part of the DMG, I think, is what it's going to lean on. Acquisitions Incorporated also leaned on that section as well, so the two are going to go hand in hand and complement each other quite nicely.
Okay.
So honestly, that's worth its weight in gold for me.
Oh, yeah.
That's worth the price of the book for me, the group patrons.
You think?
Absolutely. From a DM standpoint, and then also from a player standpoint, for fleshing out your background. Your background and your backstory are the things that are often overlooked as part of the character building process. Everybody focuses on class first and then race or vice versa. And then the background is just a super afterthought, right? This not only ties your background into having some sort of like major feature in your character build,
Yep.
but it also ties it to more of a reason of why you are adventuring, because we don't get any of that shit in the player's handbook. Why you are adventuring is, sometimes you get wanderlust, and that's about as far as it gets, right? And so I like that there's a little bit more to it, and there are all these campaign hooks in there. For someone who's homebrewing, or someone who's just excited about building interesting characters with the background, you very likely could roll a bunch of D6s and see what you land on.
Cool. I like it. All right, so we're going to start with the next chapter here. We're halfway through the book, and this is going to be the fun thing for me, personally. This is the Magical Miscellany. This will be new spells, new items, new all that. We're met with a fantastic picture of Demon Lord Gratz and Tasha having a lovely conversation through a magic mirror. If you want to know more.
I love that when you're talking to Grast, it's like, magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? And he's like, me.
Me.
Yeah,
it's me.
Yeah.
It's me. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, right. And then, yeah. The top of the section of spells, which is what I'll cover here, is, of course, Tasha's wonderful wit on display. Well, darn. Whatever could have happened to the spells Mordenkainen's bountiful back patting, Heward's hot air, and all the rest? I'm sure I submitted the spells they insisted I include herein. Seems they got lost in the shuffle. Shame. So this section is going to detail some new spells plus some other spells that are getting a bit of a rework by the looks of it.
Are they getting reprinted into more of a compendium book? Is that what it is? Like it's coming out of other, like some of the adventure paths have some, and sometimes Skag, I think, is getting a lot of reprint in here.
Skag is getting an awful lot of reprint in here, but one of the things that I'm kind of worried about is I see, like, Booming Blade, and I'm pretty sure Booming Blade is in Xanathar's, is it not?
I thought that was a Sword Coast.
If it's a Sword Coast, then that makes sense. Yes, it would be a Sword Coast. It is not in Xanathar's. I just checked. So these are just mostly reprints then.
Well, a lot of them, there's a lot of summoning stuff, which is new in here as well.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm just going to go through the list. For Evocation, we get 3 new spells or reprints of spells. They're Booming Blade, Green Flame Blade, and Lightning Lure. We've seen these before. For Enchantment, we get a new cantrip. For Cantrips, we get 5 new spells, 3 Evocation, 1 Enchantment, 1 Conjuration. Your Evocation spells are Booming Blade, Green Flame Blade, and Lightning Lure. These are reprints. We've seen these before. Mind Sliver, I think, is a new spell.
That doesn't ring a bell.
It's an enchantment. And Sword Burst, which is a conjuration, which we know about. For first level, we only get the one, which is Tasha's Caustic Brew. For second level, we get 2 new spells. One's a conjuration, one's an enchantment. Our conjuration spell is Summon Beast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm amazed we didn't have that already.
I mean, we used to have Summon Nature's Ally. This would be that.
Summon Nature's Ally in previous editions, wasn't that like a forest spirit?
No, it was like animals and stuff as well.
Was it?
Yeah. We also have the enchantment Tasha's Mind Whip. I wonder if she got that one from Gratz.
Or from Terry.
Meh. They're really one and the same.
Terry wishes.
For third level, this is where we start getting a big boost. We got 5 third level spells. Abjuration spell called Intellect Fortress. A necromancy spell named Spirit Shroud. We have 2 new summon conjuration spells, which are Summon Fey and Summon Shadow Spawn.
Sure.
Because we're going Feywild, we might as well go Shadowfell. That makes sense. We also have a new Summon Undead Necromancy spell.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Why haven't we had Summon Undead before now?
Honestly, they're filling in gaps that I'm like, well, fuck, right. Yes, of course.
Fourth level, we get 3 new spells, all of them Conjuration, Summon Aberration, Summon Construct, Summon Elemental. Yep, all tracks. 5th level, we get 1, Summon Celestial. It's Conjuration, because of course it is. 6th level, we get 2. We get Summon Fiend.
Okay.
And Tasha's Otherworldly Guise, which is a transmutation spell.
Yeah.
Okay. 7th level, we get Dream of the Blue Veil, which is a conjuration spell. And we don't get any new 8th level spells, but we do get a new 9th level spell called Blade of Disaster, which is a conjuration spell.
So this is all conjuration heavy, right?
Conjuration and enchantment, yeah.
That tracks for Tasha. That makes a certain amount of sense.
Really does. Do you want me to break down some of the new ones?
No, not really. No. Well, it sounds like we're getting a lot of summoning, which is really good. Summoning has been kind of lax up until this point. It's been kind of ignored in 5th edition, so I'm glad they're focusing on that. What's that 9th level spell, though? Can we give just a breakdown of that?
Okay.
See if it's as good as we think.
Blade of Disaster is a 9th level conjuration spell. It's got a
Also the name of your penis.
Yeah. Wait.
Blade because it's thin. Disastrously so.
That's kind of rude.
It's very rude, Dan, but okay.
It's casting time's a bonus action.
There it is.
So it's quick, too.
Yeah.
Wait. Its range is 60 feet. It'll get you.
Yikes.
Anyways, it's verbal and somatic component. It's concentration spell up to a minute. You create a blade-shaped planar rift about 3 feet long in unoccupied space you could see.
A blade-shaped planar rift.
Yeah.
So just like a
tear in reality.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. The blade lasts for the duration. When you cast a spell, you can make up to 2 melee spell attacks with the blade. Each one against a creature, loose object, or structure within 5 feet of the blade. On a hit, that target takes 4d12 force damage, and it crits on an 18 or higher.
Holy shit, that's big. I was going to say 4d12 means potentially 4. But it is force damage, which is, not many things are vulnerable or resistant to it, right?
Oh, it gets worse.
Better. Yeah, okay.
On a crit, not only does it crit on an 18 to 20, it also does 3 times damage on a crit, dealing 12d12 damage.
Does it do 12d12, or is it 4d12 times 3?
On a critical hit, the blade deals an extra 8d12 force damage for a total of 12d12 force damage.
So it doesn't actually just triple your number.
No, it just says you
roll more dice. Yeah.
As a bonus action on your turn for up to a minute, you can move the blade up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see and then make 2 melee spell attacks with it again. The blade can harmlessly pass through any barrier, including a wall of force.
Yikes.
That's big.
Well, that's why it's a 9th level spell.
Yep. I don't know. I'd say it feels a bit weak for a 9th level spell.
The fact that it is a bonus action, it passes through every freaking barrier. Does it say that you can see, or does it just say?
You have to make. No. You can make up to 2 melee spell attacks with the blade, each one against a creature, loose object, or structure within 5 feet of the blade. As a bonus action, you can move the blade up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see, and then make 2 melee spell attacks. The blade can harmlessly pass through any barrier. So you have to see where it goes, not necessarily where it attacks.
Yeah, and this is a super spiritual weapon then.
Yeah, this is spiritual weapon on crack. Yeah.
Is there a material component?
No, it's verbal and somatic.
That is why this is a 9th level spell, because it's cheap.
It's cheap, it's easy, it lasts a long time, and it deals a hell of a... You could do 24 d12 damage
Well, you keep in
quite
mind,
easily with this thing.
Yeah, and you keep in mind, too, that...
As a bonus action.
How do you figure 24?
You get 2 attacks, and it crits on an 18.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and that's a 15% crit, right? That's big.
As a bonus action. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm leveling up a wizard just to get this and to sit down and relax because there's your fight.
Who gets it? Just wizards? It should say...
It says sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards.
So arcane casters.
Arcane casters.
I mean, not
a pact of the Blade Warlock with this is his 9th level, like that single 9th level spells tracks.
Yeah, I know. I really like that.
Right? I just really want to talk real quick about the summon abilities. It does detail what you could do, but it also gives you a stat block for the aberrations you can summon. So it says you could summon like a Beholderkin, Slod, or Spirit Spawn, and then gives you a stat block which changes depending on what specific thing you go.
So you're summoning spirits, much like Find Familiars, not actually... So like you get a celestial spirit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Summon Beast is giving you a bestial spirit, which gives you you choose between an air, land, or water creature.
That's the way that the Beastmaster thing was set up too. This entire book feels like it's meant for customization.
It does. And each of these summon spells isn't like, if you're summoning a construct, you're not summoning a Modron. You are summoning, well, I mean, it might look like a Modron. But in fact, it says the creature resembles a golem or a Modron of your choice, but its stat block is the one that is used here.
Well, you know what? That saves us from having to fuck around with the monster manual and flip pages. And...
As a DM, that is the thing I hated the most about summon anything in previous editions.
This really streamlines it, and I like that quite a bit.
Yeah. And it does that all the way through for summon shadow spawns, summon undead, summon fiend. It does the same. They are spirits of that thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so that's all the spells. I mean, there's a bunch in here that attaches specific flavor, which, I mean, you could expect kind of witchy hag flavor to them all.
Of course, yep.
And read them at your own leisure. It does give a little section here for personalizing your spells. Tasha herself says, when I first learned magic from Baba Yaga, which Baba Yaga's her mom, everybody.
Well, adopted mother.
Adopted mother, yeah. I couldn't help but add spectral chicken legs to all my spells. She said that she wasn't a fan, but I caught her grinning a few times. So of course I still add those legs. What use is magic if you can't harness it to amuse your mom? Tasha. Aw, so sweet. So basically what this does is gives you an option to add special flavor to your spells. There's a D10 kind of chart here that gives you some themes that you could build into, like book pages, origami, quills, and ink, all accompanied by rustling sounds and library scents whenever you cast your spells.
Yeah, okay. This is just flavor to put on top of it. There's nothing mechanical here.
Nothing mechanical.
Okay. Honestly, we've talked about this in the past on some of our spellcasting episodes where we're like, hey, just because it's Big B's hand doesn't mean it has to be literally Big B's hand. If you are a lizard folk with 4 fingers, or you're an Arakocra with a talon, that could be what your hand looks like. Flavor it the way that you want to do it. I'm glad that they're just kind of reinforcing that. They do listen to the podcast.
Yeah. The one thing that I really like here...
We should write 6th edition.
We should write 6th edition. Hire us.
Yay.
Don't just sponsor us. Hire us.
There we go.
Anyways, the one thing that I note here that I am definitely going to apply to my next character... bursts and strokes of watercolor painted by an invisible brush.
Sure.
It just the feel of that, like this
the feeling of your strokes
of the watercolor painting, Adam.
Yeah. All right.
It just feels really, really cool. I like the feeling that it gives you for your magic spells and personalizing them. Adam, what do we got next?
We've got magic items are up next. Now it looks like we've got a
metric shit ton.
No, not as many as you'd think, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I'm seeing about in the range of about 40. There's also in this chart it lists the rarity, the name of the item, but then whether or not it requires attunement. So you can, at a glance, figure out which ones you should go for.
Oh.
But the common ones that you're all excited about are either the prosthetic limb, which is from Eberron, so that's getting a reprint, or 3 different tattoos.
Which, I mean, we did that tattoo episode on the UA.
Yeah, so this is going to be a lot of the similar stuff. Now, it looks like a significant portion of these, like a decent amount of these are tattoos, especially the low-level stuff.
Do they function the same as we saw before in the UA, roughly?
I don't know, man. You're asking me to dig into the actual... All right, hold on a sec. So there's a whack of uncommon. There's even more rare. And then there's 5 very rare, 1 legendary, which is just a tattoo. And then 6 artifacts.
Okay.
So, magical tattoos. The rarer the tattoo is, the more space it typically occupies on a creature's skin once it's inscribed on a creature's body. Damage or injury doesn't impair the tattoo's function, even if it's defaced. You can customize the tattoo's appearance. A magic tattoo can look like a brand, scarification, birthmark, patterns of scale, or any other cosmetic alteration.
Cosmetic
alteration.
Yeah. Hey, this one's a tentacle.
Then it gives you the how much of your body it's going to cover portion. And then there are, it looks like it's very, very similar. It has a tattoo attunement, which looks like, from my memory, the same.
Okay.
I'm sure that the flavor text is slightly different because that was UA and they will have updated it.
Yeah.
But it's very much in the same realm as the previous the previous UA was. And as a matter of fact, you can even see in the artwork here, there's a half-orc with little spectacles.
Cool.
Yeah, that's actually tattooing with what looks like a chisel.
It looks like it's almost like the Maori style of tattooing by the looks of it.
Yeah, and that, my friend, he is tattooing it onto a punk half-elf with a bunch of, like, facial piercings. That's pretty badass.
And a pierced nipple.
Yep.
I like, there's now pierced nipples in D&D.
There always were, my friend. You just weren't lifting up people's shirts.
Bet you Dave's excited.
Dave used to have 2 pierced nipples.
I know he used to have 2 pierced nipples.
Yeah. Yeah, write into the show if you would like to hear about his unfortunate incident with the electric fence and why he doesn't have pierced nipples anymore. So, yes, we've got, just really quickly, sure, there's tattoos, everybody knows that, but here are the names of the artifacts. Baba Yaga's Mortar and Pestle.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
The Crook of Rao.
Ooh.
The Demonomicon of Igwilv, which is
Tasha.
Tasha's. Yeah. That's Tasha.
Yeah, Tasha has the Demonomicon.
Luba's Taraka of Souls. We have the Mighty Servant of Liko?
Mighty Servant of Licking?
Of Liuko.
Okay.
And then the Teeth of Dalvernar. I am so curious to get...
So, a mortar and pestle, a book, a stick, some teeth, and a dude? Like a servant?
The Taraka of Souls, too. So, this is created by a figure of Vistani legend. Because there's a Taraka deck, right?
Yeah.
So there's something... like this looks like it's a deck of cards.
Oh, no.
That
D&D.
Also revealed great evils and guided its creator into a path of nefarious forces.
Dungeons & Dragons, please learn your lesson from the deck of many things.
Oh.
Giving players decks of cards is a bad idea.
Random properties, spells, enduring vision, twist of fate, wheel, woe, prisoners of fate. Oh my god. Shuffling fate, destroying the deck. There's a lot here. This is boner inducing.
Is this a reprint basically from...
And the Mighty Servant of Liuko is a huge construct.
Okay.
That is essentially... you control the servant. There's it's part of Ghost in the Machine. There's a self-destruct. There's a lot of cool shit in this. The Teeth of Dalvernar. It looks like Dalvernar was a dragon.
Oh.
Yep. You roll on the table to determine... to draw one of the teeth. Wow, oh my god, there's a lot of shit here. No, it's just a bunch of teeth, and you can summon a dragon by accident, or 2 incubi, 9 cats, 1 vampire,
9 cats,
3 oni, 1 unicorn, a Tarask, or a priest.
Or a priest.
Yeah.
An old one or a young one.
Yeah. So there we go. Those are them. That's like a quick break. The magic items look like they're a lot of fun. Again, this looks like it's more of a opportunity for DMs to find inspiration for what they can drop as big game changers with the artifacts. I always like seeing the artifacts, but it looks like it's mostly tattoos or really flavorful Tasha level stuff as well. So,
okay, so we're going to move on to chapter 4 here. We're kind of in the home run, the
home stretch.
Home stretch, that's the word. I know sports.
Jesus.
The picture here, I mean, it's Tasha playing Wizard's Chess with Mordenkainen. As a lore nerd,
yeah,
I want this framed on my wall.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Because it's also Mordenkainen losing to Tasha.
She's cheating.
Oh, 100% she is. Anyways, so chapter 4 is the Dungeon Master tools. And, I mean, they are going to start off with session 0.
As they should.
As they should have way back when. Tasha's little quote, establish boundaries. And if anyone crosses them, speak up. And if they don't listen, there's always cloud kill. Tasha listens to the podcast for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, there is a step-by-step thing into your session 0, which includes the character and party creation, saying build your characters together in a session 0. I've always been a proponent of sitting down at a table in your first session to build characters, including the party formation, which lets you kind of know that your party's starting off as a party rather than discovering each other.
Yeah.
For newer campaigns,
if you want to discover each other, you turn the lights off and put on some soft
They haven't
music.
released that book yet.
No, okay.
Yeah. This includes also a group patron, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
It also includes tips for running a game for a single player in the terms of session 0. So running a game for one player. Then it will break through the social contract, which includes things like hard and soft limits and what you're willing to...
Safe words?
A soft limit is a threshold that one should think twice about crossing, as it is likely to create genuine anxiety, fear, and discomfort. Whereas a hard limit is a threshold that should never be crossed.
Yep.
These are things you talk about in your session 0 every single time.
Don't kink shame.
Yeah, exactly. Finally, there's game customization in your games, which you will cover in a session 0, which includes which 3 of the pillars of adventuring, combat, exploration, and role-playing, heyo, they listen to the podcast, interest you the most. How much humor do you like? What level of technology do you prefer? Do you enjoy solving in-game puzzles and riddles? And how do you want to track experience and leveling up? As well as other house rules. These are all things that we've talked about, and it really it gives you like a page and a half on social contract.
Which is good. I mean, I'm sure, does it give you a checklist or is it just kind of guidelines?
It's just kind of guidelines.
That's okay. Every table's going to be different.
Every table's going to be different.
I never liked session 0 checklists. I see them all over the place, especially on Instagram and Reddit.
It's going to vary table to table, right? But I mean, the first sentence is D&D, and I agree with this full-heartedly, is first and foremost meant to be a fun for all experience. If anything you're doing in your game is going to limit the fun of other people around the table, it's not worth doing.
We keep talking on the podcast about how adversarial DMing is not okay, and this is...
Adversarial playing is also not okay, and that's against other players at the table.
Bradley. So the next thing in here is for sidekicks.
Bradley.
Creating a sidekick, gaining a sidekick class. So you have starting level, leveling up a sidekick, hit points, proficiency bonus, ability score increases.
Hey, Adam.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but...
You're wrong.
No, I don't think I am. I think you're with me on this one. Gaining sidekicks is really easy. You just start a podcast and get them on it, right?
Dan, that's just rude. It's just rude. And you're implying that Terry's not a sidekick because he started it with us.
Oh, I guess that's true.
So that's why you're wrong. Terry, we love you.
Sidekick Terry. That's his new name. Better than side piece Terry. Am I right?
No, he would disagree. So there is oh my god. These are like little mini classes for the expert. You got first level expert features, second level, third level, and it like your proficiency bonus goes up.
Are they NPC classes?
These
like
are
legit NPC classes?
Yeah.
I want to start a campaign where you're a sidekick.
And then spellcasters. So there's experts, spellcasters, a warrior, Yeah, man, that's so cool how they've done this. And it has a full like progression table the way that the subclasses or the way that all classes do.
I am on board.
For example, the warrior at first level gets bonus proficiencies and a martial roll. At second level, they get second wind, 1 use. At third level, they get improved critical. At fourth level, they get an ability score improvement.
This is something, what we have done before in our campaigns that we haven't really mentioned much here is when you start a character, you tend to get a shopping list almost. And one of those things that you get on there is the option to have a trusted NPC that is guaranteed off the bat to be trustworthy until the end of the campaign.
Yeah.
Right? This is a great codification for that, where your character has 100% trust that this NPC will never backstab you, has your best interest in heart, because you have purchased this NPC at the beginning of the game. I love this for that, because then that NPC can level up with you.
I also want to point out that under the warrior, it says, a warrior sidekick grows in martial prowess as it fights by your side. It might be a soldier, a town guard, a battle-trained beast, or any other creature honed for combat. So this right here fixes the ranger's animal companion shit.
Give it one of these.
Give them one of these. And like the Beastmaster's even more. And then they can summon even more on that top of that. They can become a bit of a general, sure. And they can build it that way. But now anybody can have a pet dog.
Does hit dice go up?
1 second. I gotta flip back because there was something about that. Hit points. Whenever the sidekick gains a level, it gains 1 hit die. And its hit point maximum increases. To determine the amount of the increase, roll the hit die, and it appears in its stat block. So
I'm assuming like a warrior's a D8, a expert's a D6, and a caster's a D4.
I'm trying to find out where it says that.
I'm assuming they're kind of lower level for the hit dice pool, but this is the thing. A lot of groups I've heard don't like bringing in animal companions and stuff. Like, don't ever name your horse because you know it's just going to die. Guess what, friend? You're a paladin and you have a preferred horse. You have a like divine steed. There's the one you summon, right? I would find steed. I would let you summon a sidekick level steed with find steed. Your find familiar, your Pact of the Chain warlock probably has one of these.
Oh, no. You're absolutely wrong. You know what this is? It says that it's in the sidekick's stat block. There's no stat block here, but you add the Constitution modifier. You create a sidekick from the Monster Manual or another D&D book, but the challenge rating in its stat block must be half or lower. So you use the hit die that's provided to it.
I'm sorry, pardon?
When you create a sidekick, it can be any type of creature with a stat block in the Monster Manual or another D&D book, but the CR has to be half or lower. So that's how you find out the hit die. And yes, it does progress. It levels.
Fucking rights.
There we go. Like this
is worth the price of admission for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing else in this book has piqued my interest like this.
Yeah, that changes everything for Rangers.
For Rangers, for Pact of the Chain,
for
everybody. You could be a stock fighter with just a couple ranks in animal handling and get one of these.
You don't need to take Find Familiar anymore if you just, it's radically different than actually having a companion, a sidekick, right? But you don't need that in order to get a familiar. You get a spell-casting cat.
You could get a Quasit and make it a warrior.
You absolutely could, yeah.
Right? Like, I love this field. The one thing I would say is I would limit this to 1 per player.
Quasits are too high. Their CR is too high.
Okay. Well, an imp. I guess imps are CR1 as well.
Yeah, they are CR1. You can get...
half-orc?
Yeah, in theory, yes. Some of the examples they give you are like a goblin, a furbolg, an Asamara.
Yeah, there's a turtle here. There is a...
Tabaxi. There's
a winged kobold.
Yeah.
Next is a good tip for dungeon masters who kind of struggle in this, and I know I have in the past, which is parlaying with monsters. Tasha says, why fight if a lovely chat is possible? If things get out of hand, just show yourself out with a dimension door. Sounds like Tasha.
Yep.
Okay. Basically what this is giving you rules to running a social encounter with a monster that may or may not speak your language.
Which is really useful because there are things like manticores and bullywugs that don't necessarily speak common, but do have their own languages.
Well, this is where I think one of the big gems in this section is going to be the Monster Research tab, which shows you what skill is required to research what type of monster.
Thank you. That is so fucking
Finally, we have this. Where it's like aberrations are arcana, dragons are arcana, history, or nature. Giants are strictly history.
That makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. A monstrosity.
I've been running my own version of this on the side anyway for when it comes to this shit. And what can I know? What do I inherently know about mind flayers? And you used to do that shit to me all the time because you were inquisitive, and I just wanted to fucking throttle you, Dan.
Yep.
But now that it's codified, I just have something I can flip to here.
Right? One of the things I like is undead are arcana or religion.
Yeah.
They've used to be just religion in previous editions.
Yep.
So I'm on board. Now, with the breakdowns, I mean, you got your aberrations, your beasts, your celestials, constructs, dragons, etc.
Sure. What do you need to be able to talk to plants? Nature? I mean, come on.
No, it's nature. Yeah.
And oozes?
Oozes are arcana or survival.
Cool.
Because they have that base nature, right?
Yeah,
this is giving you a little bit more of a boost in survival as well, because it's horribly underused.
It is. It's poorly defined and underused. Yeah.
So what this does is this gives you a D4 chart for each one of your kind of subcategories of monster as to their desires. So if your party comes across a dragon and needs to parlay with it, and you don't know what that dragon's desires are,
then you're doing it wrong, but sure.
Then you're doing it wrong. It's just the one I chose in front of me. Roll a d4, and this, say you get a 3. Well, this dragon wants an antique passed down at least 3 generations, right? This gives you the desires for that thing. If you're fighting an ooze, and you're trying to parlay with an ooze through survival or whatever it is, and you roll a d4 and you get a 2, you get a cloth bearing a noxious odor. So just, get the barbarian to take off his loincloth.
Oh, so these are not... Okay, so this is how you get on its good side.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
These are tokens that will aid in a...
This is not about a character or about a creature's motivation. This is about how to bribe it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Beauty.
And that's what this is. Like, meeting a monster doesn't have to spark a fight. An offering will...
This is fantastic. This allows you the ability to throw down some food for a guard dog.
Literally, fresh meat is one of the options for beasts.
Yeah, see, that's perfect.
Yep. Undead, a vial of blood.
Yeah,
right?
Depending on the undead, that makes a certain amount of sense.
I could just see a skeleton with some, echoes of its personality in the back of its mind. You give it a vial of blood and it goes, I have blood now. And then your party can just walk by it. Well,
yeah, except they don't speak, but yeah.
I love Kieran. Anyways.
So up next is, I think, what's going to be my favorite thing.
Okay.
Environmental hazards. Specifically, I've been waiting for supernatural regions. There was a leak about this online, and it was the spoiler that I got ahead of time that this kind of shit existed.
How dare you? So you're saying that this is going to go over basically NPC class breakdowns in importance for you.
Oh, yeah.
You think?
Oh, yeah. So, as a DM tool, this section explores how to add fantastical challenges to any locale and ways to further bring an adventure's setting to life.
Oh.
Okay, supernatural regions. They have blessed radiance effects. For example, one character in the region is suffused with celestial power. For 1 minute, the character's melee attacks deal an extra 2d6 radiant damage on a hit.
Oh.
These are, when you enter a supernatural region, they've got a D100 table with a shit ton of options for blessed radiance effects. If you're in a blessed area, if you go into a far realm infused section, which
is space, by the way.
Well, consider rolling on the far realm effects table when the following circumstances occur in a region touched by the far realms. A warlock whose otherworldly patron is a great old one rolls a 1 to 20 on the D20 for an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw, could trigger one of these. The characters take a short or long rest in the region, could trigger one of these.
Cool.
A creature spends more than an hour reading an Eldritch Tome written by those who have seen or otherwise interacted with the far realm. So let me grab a short one here. 37 to 45 on this D100 table for Far Realm. And like, there are many of these, but here's this. The landscape melts into a mass of writhing flesh, eyes, and fanged mouths. From an unoccupied space in the fleshy ground arise 1d4 plus 5 gibbering mouthers that attack anyone on sight.
Okay, so your warlock, who's an idiot, because of course he is, because he's a warlock, is reading his book of shadows.
It's not even that. It's 1 to 20 for any ability check, saving throw, or attack roll.
This is the thing I'm planning. Like, reading this at night on his watch, and suddenly transports himself and the entire party onto a plane of fleshy ground, and 4 gibbering mouthers get up, and to get out, you have to kill the mouthers, and then things will go back to normal. Oh.
So Blessed Radiance is for a section where the upper planes has touched a region.
Okay.
All right. We've got the Far Realm effects for when the Far Realm touches an area. For
showing that all where the Far Realm has touched you.
Yeah, right. Haunted houses have one.
Oh,
so for haunted,
so regions, there's actually haunts and terrors. Yes, I'm on board.
Infested. So when rolling. Consider rolling on the infested effects table when the following circumstances occur in a region. And this is whenever you're in a place that's been overrun. The picture that they have is a town covered in spiderwebs with giant spiders. So
sorry, Megan.
Yeah. So if there are webs, cocoons, hives, anthills, or other insect dwellings that are disturbed, if a creature attacks an insect swarm or a small or large insect, such as a giant centipede or giant spider in the region.
These can be other region effects as well. That's great.
A creature begins a short or long rest, it could just trigger. For example, on a 56 to 60, the ground opens up beneath one random creature, creating a quicksand pit.
Okay, so what if it's on a short or long rest? How do you roll to trigger one of these?
So when they say, all right, we're going to take a short or long rest, first of all, I would let them complete it. Otherwise, it isn't a short or long rest. So upon completion of one,
okay,
as it ends, otherwise it's just them pausing, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't count as a rest. They don't get the benefits. Therefore, technically, it doesn't work. So when that happens, I will have, whoever has the lowest, let's say, wisdom score. I myself as a DM may roll a D100, but I like to involve my players.
What is the...
Roll percentile dice. Just roll. When that happens, it triggers one of these random encounters.
But do you roll a dice to trigger the D100 roll?
Nope.
Because it says could happen when you cast
Consider rolling when one of the following circumstances. This is DM discretion.
Okay. So DMs, a lot of these sound pretty, they sound like they hit pretty hard. So this shouldn't be every single short rest you deal with this thing.
Not right? Always. I just picked hard hitting ones. The region is choked with wispy webbing, which acts as difficult terrain.
Okay.
So some of them are more brutal than others. If I'm going to enter a town and I'm going to be rolling in this D100 table, I'm going to look at this first.
Okay.
And determine which ones I don't like or I might replace.
This is going to be extremely useful for a future campaign I'm planning.
Yeah, this is great for random encounters. So we have an infested area. We've got a mirror zone. A mirror zone occurs where planar and magical energies converge and create a place of reflections. Creatures, objects, and energy reflect, refract, duplicate, or are transported elsewhere. Such locations arise from the intrusion of a theorized plane of mirrors upon the material plane, or where powerful magic governing transition, protection, or divination had unexpected results. So if this happens right around, and then, if you're in one of these mirror zones, and then a creature shatters a mirror, or uses any teleportation magic, or casts an illusion, or impersonates another creature, suddenly, random crazy shit happens. One character in the region gains the benefit of the mirror image spell. The images created sometimes move or speak of their own volition.
I just love the idea of you walking into this little realm and, you see different versions of yourself. Like you see one guy with a goatee when you don't, one guy with a top hat, one guy with a monocle. They're all obviously you, but twisted and deformed versions or...
Yeah. The next one is wherever there's psychic resonance.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of psychic in this book.
Where magic is unraveling in a zone.
A wild magic zone is good to have. That also helps with the campaign world I'm building.
And then you get... holy shit. There's so much. There's magical phenomena as well, including eldritch storms.
Okay.
emotional echoes, enchanted springs, magical mushrooms.
Oh, we have those already.
Magic mushrooms. Mushrooms can be deadly, delicious, or both. Some have magical properties, especially those that grow in area infused by mystical energies, such as the Underdark and the Feywild. Mimic colonies.
Oh, there they are.
We have a new stat block for new kind of mimic. Challenge rating 0, and it's a juvenile mimic. It is tiny.
I have a question.
Yep.
Can I, if that's a challenge rating less than half creature, could I have a mimic NPC sidekick?
Yes, apparently yes.
Freaking A.
The artwork here is of 2 old women sitting in chairs that are obviously mimics. There's a chest that is a mimic. There's an awning above them with fucking teeth. And the porch they're on has teeth. So they're like sitting in the mouth of a giant mimic. The teapot and cups that they're holding are mimics. The hanging pots are mimics.
Dear friends, everything's a mimic.
Everything is a mimic.
You never know what you're gonna get.
So, yeah. Mimic communication, confronting a colony. Oh my god, what happens when you get primal fruit? I don't even know what primal fruit is, but there it is.
That is from, I believe, Theros.
Is it actually part of Theros?
It's the like finding the fruit that gives you like eternal life or whatever it is, right? Like that fits a lot of the Theros pulling from Greek mythology.
Unearthly roads is another one.
Unearthly roads, okay.
Yeah. And then after that, it gets into actual natural hazards. How to run avalanches.
Wow.
How to deal with falling into water, falling onto a creature, and spell equivalents of natural hazards. Like ball lightning is like a chromatic orb. Fog operates like fog cloud. Stuff like that, right?
Okay, so natural disasters have, or natural effects have spell-like things that you can run as a DM. Okay, that's useful. That's incredibly useful.
Yeah, for example, if you want a tidal wave, go to the spell Tsunami.
Cool.
To look for inspiration. So, like, there's a lot about settings in here and magical shit about... Oh my god, there's so much in here.
Okay.
That is fucking amazing. That changes everything.
Well, Adam, it's about to get even better. Because I know you, and you know me, and I know you like running puzzles, and I know I like running and solving puzzles. And guess what? Tasha has some help for us in puzzle making as a DM, as well as ways to... If you're playing a smart character and you're dumb as a bag of hammers, there's ways you could get hints. This is something I had to struggle with before. Yes, I just called myself dumb as a bag of hammers. Moving on.
Dan, how many bags have just hammers in them?
Many.
All right. I don't know what you're doing with just a fucking grocery bag full of 6 hammers.
I mean, there's different types of hammers. There's claw hammers, ball peen hammers. You could have sledgehammers. You could have...
How many sledgehammers are in your grocery bag, Dan?
I have, personally, hammers I use frequently, at least 7.
In a grocery bag?
Not in a grocery bag. They're in a tool bag, but it's still a bag of hammers.
You're a bag of hammers.
Dumb is one, yes. So why create a solvable puzzle? Just pose an enigmatic question without an answer and watch your trespassers squirm, Tasha.
Okay, don't actually do that.
No. If you're DMing, you're doing that.
Have an answer. Yeah.
So this gives you ideas of why to use puzzles in your D&D. Which friends use puzzles? It activates that section of the brain that isn't combat. It's a good way to employ the exploration side of the game. I mean, we've talked about puzzles before. Use your bloody puzzles. There's some other reasons why here. Puzzle elements. It kind of tells you how to.
Is it just creating and building puzzles? Or is it giving you example puzzles to use?
It is, yes, both.
Okay.
And when it gives you a puzzle, it's going to give you tips to customizing it for your own purposes as well. It also gives you, with the puzzles, an idea called hint checks, which give you several different kind of checks you could take to get a hint on how to solve it.
Sure.
Okay.
Do you use your int score for your hint check?
It's a hint check with a H.
Gotcha.
Yeah. However, if no character, this is one thing it does say with hints, if no character has the proficiency in any of the listed skills, they can make ability checks using the listed skills instead.
Fair.
Okay? So, running puzzles gives you a tip how to run a puzzle. Once you've presented one, feel free to add or clarify details.
This shit should have been in the DMG.
It really should. I completely agree. It feels like Xanathar's is more of a player edition. This is the first to DM edition.
Well, the second half of it anyway. Like,
yeah. I mean, the additional classes.
I'm glad we didn't just get like 90 pages of magic items, right?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. So you get creature paintings as puzzles, reckless steps as puzzles, which I guess would be like steps that turn into a ramp. Oh no. There's word puzzles and number puzzles and skeleton key puzzles and gemstone puzzles and...
All right, so... and they're giving you actual puzzles to run here, or are they just giving you the broad strokes?
So they're giving you actual puzzles to run. I'm going to detail one of them.
Sure.
And you could get the idea of what they are. This one is going to be the Eye of the Beholder puzzle. It's a difficult puzzle. Do
they have difficulty ratings in there?
They all have difficulty ratings on them, from easy to hard.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering if there's another step above it. There isn't. And there's few. There's like 10 pages worth of puzzles here. So, the Eye of the Beholder puzzle has a cool little description text like you would see in any of the sort of the adventure paths, something you read out to the players to help you. This one has a goblin that has, I can help you through these parts if you figure out my riddles.
Sure.
Okay. Make it a sphinx. Works too. Goblin's friendly and his offer is genuine. Its name is Igor. Pronounced Igor. Sorry. His name is Igor. Anyways, puzzle features. He does some...
Oh, young Frankenstein.
Basically, it's a maze you have to pick.
It's pronounced Frankenstein.
There's a maze you have to go through.
Fuck you. Like 3 people have seen this movie and listen to the podcast. They think I was fucking funny.
Are you talking about...
Frankenstein.
Oh, Bride of Frankenstein?
No. Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein, right.
God, you are the worst at everything. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Mel Brooks movie. Yes,
you almost said Mel Gibson.
I almost said Mel Gibson. Have you seen the trailer for Fat Man, just as an aside?
Yes.
It's amazing. Anyways, magical. So basically, the characters find themselves in a maze that emits magical darkness that can't be dispelled. No vision can penetrate this darkness, and only the goblin's lantern can illuminate it. Igor's lantern emits a 5-foot radius light, but only so long as the goblin himself holds it. The lantern goes dark if any other creature takes custody of it. So, the goblin pops out with a puzzle that you try to find your way through upon answering the goblin's riddles, which is like, what beast has the sharpest eye?
What beast?
An eagle.
Sure.
Because you have eagle.
Yeah, sure.
Vision, right?
Okay.
The stuff like that. This eye curses you with misfortune.
I mean, a Medusa? Is this what we're at? Like... This is the level that we're dealing with here?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't want to give too many of the answers in case people want to play them. But anyways.
Sure, but it gives you an idea of kind of the direction that you're going in with this. I like the fact that you can just give... I got to back up a second. You said that there were hint rolls. Do they have hint options to these puzzles?
Hint checks. Any character has the option of making these abilities checks to receive a hint. So it gives you 3 options to roll. You could roll a persuasion, investigation, or insight.
But do they tell you what the hint is?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But they're very general. Like, the goblin provides a hint in the form of a synonym of the riddle's answer.
A cinnamon?
A synonym.
Okay.
After a few riddles are answered correctly, a character notices that all the answers relate to blank. Right?
Sure.
Goes down like that for this. And then customizing the puzzle. Characters can easily persuade the goblin to join the party. What other secrets does the goblin know? Does he have an agenda for helping the characters find their freedom? And why has he lingered in the maze if he knows the way out? There might be more to this guide than meets the eye.
I get it.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to point out, this for me is more about inspiring by using 10 or so examples on how the puzzles run and how to use hints and what the answers are and whatnot. This is a useful tool. I'm not sure I would run them right out of the book. They seem like good examples, but...
I don't know. I often struggle to find a good, challenging puzzle to throw to my party because I've been playing with the same group of guys for 20-something years. We've all seen the puzzles before, right? A lot of these are unique. Some of them are pattern recognition. Some of them are creative in like musical ways and stuff like that to be able to solve. It's
again, I'm going to use these as inspiration because any one of my guys has picked up this book and flipped through them.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many options here that as a player, I don't think that would even hinder like this. This wouldn't affect my gameplay at all. I would find that puzzle and knowing how to customize them. as a DM, I would make sure that my players didn't quite recognize it right off the bat. And if they don't recognize it right off the bat, they're not going to get it.
Yeah, you make it a Minotaur, not a Goblin in a maze. That, that kind
make
of
it 9 rooms instead of 4 kind of deal.
Sure.
But yeah, and this is everything from a number puzzle to finding the secret password to a thieves guild by reading a menu in a certain way, right? Like these are the kind of inspirations you could come from.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. That should be the level of inspiration that we should be getting.
Okay.
And then there's puzzle handouts.
Yep.
That come with it. I hope people don't cut this shit out of the book. I
photocopy it.
Yeah, but I wish that these were loose leaf that would get tucked in the back. You know how the maps are in the...
They're kind of attached with that serrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I would want for these kind of things. I feel like people would...
Then you'd lose them.
Well, do you lose the maps?
Yes.
Speaking of, there's one of... Okay, so all of the different puzzles, or at least some of them anyway, seem to have puzzle handouts. So there's 6 of them do.
And that's the rest of the book.
And then the book just ends. It just suddenly is over. Nah, bat fur. So with that in mind, Dan, what are your overall impressions of this book?
It's a DM helper, primarily. I understand
even
that
with all the subclasses. I mean, half
even
the
with
book
all the
is subclasses.
Even with all the subclasses, I would say this book has its highest amount of value as a DM helper. A DM is going to go into this book far more often than a player like me who likes to build characters will.
Yeah.
Right? Mostly because a lot of these subclasses are reprints as well, right? Like Oath of Glory, I already know where that is, right? But environmental...
This makes it so that the people that don't want to buy the other campaign settings are able to get access to these subclasses.
Yep.
So I get that.
I'm surprised things like the Renown system and various other subsystems, the piety system, the fate system, and like these other, I realize I just listed 3 things that come from Theros, but like those kind of systems aren't present here, right? Because those could be used outside of the Theros system if applied in a certain way, right?
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, Wizards still needs to be able to sell the Theros book, right? So like,
you sell it for the, I guess that's true. I mean,
you can't pull everything out of one book and just reprint it over here. At some point, you're just going to start yelling reprint over and over and not picking up different books.
But the amount of new stuff in there as well is balance that out.
Yeah, so I think that overall, the fact that you get 80 pages of a 190-page book being player stuff, not including like the group patrons, I guess, is also player stuff as well. So, and that goes up to about page 105, right? So there's definite reasons for players to pick this up.
Yes.
But I'm still picking this up after Xanathar's as a player, but before Skag by a damn sight.
I'm picking this up before Xanathar's as a DM.
As a DM, you're right. I would pick this up before.
Right? Like, in terms of value, that's why I say it's more of a DM helper. In terms of value, this book is going to help a DM more than it helps a player.
Honestly, this feels like, okay, I'm going to use old edition terminology here, but if Xanathar's was the PHB 2 and Volos and Mordenkainen were the Monster Manual 2 and 3,
yeah,
then this book here is the PHB 2.5 and the DMG 1.5. Like, it's a half and half. It's half of another player's handbook and half of a Dungeon Master's.
No, I'm with you on that one, just because a lot of the stuff that is available for the DMs feels like stuff that should have been just printed in the DMG in the beginning that they just forgot about.
Well, we have to keep in mind, too, that the online community is more active than it ever has been before because, well, the internet has evolved.
And 5th edition has been out for about 5 years now.
Yeah, and 5th edition really pushed itself onto the internet in ways that 4th edition failed to do. 4th edition was supposed to be a lot of online play and whatnot as well. And I'm trying to remember what their fucking online push was. They had a big, like, download our battle maps.
4th edition?
Yeah, 4th.
4th edition had their online character creator thing that they were going to go with for a while.
And it was just hot shit.
It never really came out.
Nobody wanted to do it.
Even 5e doesn't really have their quote-unquote official one because D&D Beyond is technically a separate company.
Yeah, and yet we have a better online presence with 5th edition than ever before. So I feel like they're listening to people more often. And I feel like the idea that the Session Zero and some of the stuff that we said, hey, finally we're getting this shit, they didn't know we wanted it up until like 4 or 5 years ago. Right?
Fair enough, yeah.
So this really does feel like the game evolving, and we will see a lot of these inclusions in the Dungeon Master's Guide or in Player's Handbook and stuff in 6th edition, right? Like there will be some things that are treated differently.
We're going to hit that point. There is one thing about this book that makes me really sad. And other than the witty little quips that Tasha provides, there is no who the hell is Tasha.
But there wasn't one for Mordenkainen or Volo or Xanathar
and
either.
I have a problem with that. Xanathar, the only reason why it's less of a problem is because of how detailed he is in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, but it should still have been in Dragon Heist, but it still should have been in the book. Knowing who the hell Tasha is, knowing who the hell Mordenkainen is.
If I may, spoiler alert for some of the other books. Volo, Xanathar, and Mordenkainen all pop up as players in these books, as NPCs.
Oh, yeah.
I expect that we will have Tasha pop up.
Where does Volo pop up?
He's in Dragon Heist. He's actually in a lot. He keeps popping up. He's in Yawning Portal. He's around. Like, Volo pops up repeatedly. He's in Tomb of Annihilation in whatever the port is.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's always dicking around in the background. So, these guys, I expect we will see Tasha soon.
I mean,
especially because, if I can just cut you off for a sec, she has mentioned Greyhawk in this book. We don't really have a Greyhawk setting necessarily, and Wizards of the Coast has said in a tweet recently that over 2021 and 2022, they're going to open up 3 old school campaign settings.
Oh.
They will be revisiting. And I expect it won't be Dragonlance because of the legal battles.
Yeah.
But I expect that gives us Dark Sun, that gives us Spelljammer, and that gives us, I gotta say Greyhawk? Maybe? I would like to see a full fucking...
I'd say we'd probably get a Forgotten Realms compendium before we get Spelljammer.
No, it's different than it's outside of Forgotten Realms.
They've said it's outside of Forgotten Realms?
These are 3 throwbacks that we haven't seen before, like 3 previous settings.
So it's not going to be Dragonlance.
Planescape, maybe?
If it's a Greyhawk book, I'm buying that day one and I'm going for it. Greyhawk is by far my favorite. I love Greyhawk. I love everything about Greyhawk. So,
but I expect that if we get Greyhawk, we'll see Tasha dicking around in there, right? We may see something that leans a little bit heavier into Hags or Grazed, or like there are so many different ways that we can bring Tasha in.
They've dealt with the Blood War. They've dealt with the Princes of the Apocalypse.
Well,
they've dealt with these other big things that were such a big point inside of Greyhawk in traditional D&D. It only makes sense for them to go towards Greyhawk now.
And if I can say, you notice that we got Waterdeep Dragon Heist and Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage. We got Baldur's Gate, Descendant of Avernus. If there is a sequel, a second one coming, I would expect that it makes a perfect sense that we would see Tasha and Grazed and some of the Blood War in there.
Yeah.
And we may see her in her other forms beyond just Tasha on the cover here.
Yeah, it'll be Igwiliv, the like witch queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hear your complaint about that, and it tracks with what they've done so far. Hold your breath. I'm going to say within the next year, we'll see Tasha pop up inside one of the books. Okay. I fully expect that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Honestly, the thing for me that is missing out of this is, honestly, I'm disappointed that we didn't get more stat blocks, more NPCs, more like we got sidekicks, right? There are stat blocks all the way through this, depending on what you're doing.
I like the variable stat block that they have
for all the summon creatures and whatnot.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool. I like these as additions. I mean, the Steel Defender obviously is in here again. Yeah. Though there are some really interesting things that they've done with that. But I'm always looking for the next monster manual. As a DM, there's a lot of cool tips and tricks and things that you can do. A lot of hints and some guide in this. There's not a whole lot that I didn't already know.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
So let me break this down to you. If we separate it up into 4 sections, like they do in the table of contents, we've got character options. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Sure. Group Patrons, which was in Eberron, is solid. I kind of already was doing that when I was thinking about Campaign Builder.
Yeah.
And with my experience as a DM, yes.
It's nice that it's codified.
It's nice that it's codified. There are a couple things in there that, I hadn't thought about that. But I wasn't yearning
You're
for
not
it.
going to get a lot of value out of that, no.
New spells? Sure, why not? New magic items? Sure, why not? Personalizing spells? I was doing that shit anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody that's played enough of this will. Magical tattoos is fun and people will like that.
I like the new summon, like the new summoning rules and whatnot of how these creatures come out and they're customizable.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Is a game changer in my mind as a DM.
Yep.
Right?
This book puts the Artificer in Forgotten Realms, which is nice.
Cool. Yep.
But then when it comes to the DM tools, Session 0, we've already been all over. Sidekicks, brilliant. Beautiful. Fucking love the sidekicks. Parlaying with monsters is fun, but a D4 table just didn't seem deep enough.
It needs to be a D6, I'd say.
Oh, shit.
Or maybe even a D8.
Yeah, I mean, how many times are you going to run into a Manticore in your... and you have a 25% chance of hitting the thing that you hit last time?
Well,
it's
so varied. They have it for use it for inspiration. I like it just because how often are you going to hit a Manticore, right? Just like you said. So you hit a Manticore once every 20 sessions. It won't matter if you get fresh meat one day, fresh meat the next day.
Right. So then that brings me to my supernatural regions, magical phenomena, and natural hazards. All the environmental shit that I got so excited about. It's still only 20 pages of content.
This could have been a PDF.
It could have been. I'm glad it wasn't. I don't like when they release the PDFs, but I love it. And it is worth the wait. It is worth the price of the book for me. But it just feels like I wanted more out of it, right? And then when it comes to the puzzles, in the end, I always try to I like homebrewing my own thing. I'll use it for inspiration again.
Yep. As a DM who's been playing for a long time and has put a lot of puzzles in front of my players, it is nice to have a fresh reservoir of inspiration to pull from.
Yeah, and frankly, this book, as much as I'm kind of complaining about it now, as much as excited as I am, I'm kind of like, it's good, but...
this is us looking for issues with the book. I think both of us enjoy the book quite a lot.
I do enjoy the book a lot, but I enjoy the book because we don't have a DMG2 yet. We don't have anything like it, right? And the Dungeon Master's Guide, honestly, is the last thing that I buy as a Dungeon Master. I need to pick up all of the spells and shit out of the player's handbook.
Yeah.
I've got to pick up the monster manual in order to run stat blocks. And then I need to pick up the module in order to run the story. I don't need the DMG. As a matter of fact, I didn't own the Dungeon Master's Guide. I think it was the 8th book that I bought when I was DMing, right? Yeah. So this, however, for me, this is almost more important than the DMG to me. Because when you look at what's actually in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and one of these days we'll do a breakdown of the legend lore of what's in the DMG. But what I was finding in there was massive lists of magic items.
Yeah.
That's not a Dungeon Master's Guide. That's a Dungeon Master's helping hand. Like that's like that. It's an index, right? I didn't want that. I wanted teach me how to be a DM. What are the different locations? Show me the different regions. They should have all this Forgotten Realms shit in there, or not, and not have the they touched on each one of the planes for 2 paragraphs, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And then they gave us Sword Coast. The DMG was weak. I got more out of 20 pages of this, plus the group patrons, which is another 20
A lot
pages.
of that is because the DMG just takes another viewpoint from the information presented inside of the player's handbook. And if you have one of the two, you're going to be able to run the game just fine. Right? And if you've got the player's handbook for spells anyways, that's going to be where your resources and how to run the game.
I would hazard to say that if you only have the DMG, you cannot run D&D.
Well,
you can't run 5th edition without the player's handbook.
Definitely not. You can't. And I mean, you can run the game without a DMG. You're completely right. There's a chapter in the player's handbook called Running the Game.
Yeah,
right. That does it for you. Right.
So with the DMG being so lackluster, taking it back to Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, this is the amount of flavor, the amount of in-depth inspiration that I wanted to see all along, and I'm finally fucking getting it. I got 40 pages overall, and then I got a bunch more magic items and a bunch more spells and a bunch more subclasses.
Well, you needed something for the forever players as well.
Well, and most people are forever players, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, as a dungeon master, I would buy this before the DMG.
That's a hot take.
I would. What is in the DMG that I need that this doesn't provide?
Magic items.
It's in here.
Not as many.
So?
And the basic rules for magic items.
And keep in mind as well that magic items are a +1 item. You get 1 magic item per tier. How badly do you need magic items? You get +1, +2, +3.
I honestly, I would not say that this book is more important than the DMG. The DMG gives a lot of foundational stuff that will help a budding...
for a new dungeon master?
For a budding dungeon master?
The DMG is solid. I'm talking about an experienced DM.
As an experienced DM who's run other editions up until this point.
Yeah, or other role-playing games.
This
is going to give you more of the D&D flavor that you're looking for.
After you've read the player's handbook.
Yes.
This, I could see where you're coming from. I do disagree. I think that DMG still offers more in terms of world building and running the sessions and stuff like that are even helpful to a veteran dungeon master. That being said, this is a close third, right? I mean, you could need the monster manual too, so I guess it's a close fourth. In terms of outside of the core 3 books, this would be one of the first ones I pick up.
As a DM?
As a person who enjoys Dungeons and Dragons, 5th edition. This one, I honestly think they hit the ball out of the park with this book. I might get Xanathars before this book.
Yeah, right? I can see that. As someone who never gets to play, I would pick this up before Xanathars. But Xanathar, I think the classes they seem better balanced and they seem more consistent with Forgotten Realms.
And this one does bring in the concept of, this one, I'm holding Xanathars in my head, in my hand, audio medium. This one does bring in the concept of common magic items. It does bring in, the concept of and details of further pantheons and stuff that I enjoy to play with as a DM. So that's why I would pick up Xanathars first. But I mean, Tasha's is, now that it's released, closely after. I think they did very well with Tasha's.
I really like this. Again, the fact that it comes in at under 200 pages
makes it a good read.
Yeah, it makes it
not laborious.
Okay, right. It's too light for me. You're the exact opposite on this. I want a 300-page book because you look at Rising from the Last War, you look at Rime of the Frost Maiden. These books are thick. They're full of flavor. There's something on every page, right? This book has a lot of flavor, but I'm missing shit out of it. The DM section feels light, right? I said a few minutes ago that it's like, oh, it's half and half. But as I'm sitting here looking at it, it fucking isn't. The player options, or it says character options, sure, they only go up to page 80. But then you get group patrons, spells, magic items, personalizing spells. That goes up to page 138 out of 190. That's 2/3. All of that is for players. And while DMs should be familiar with this stuff, and group patrons in particular are useful for a DM, your Dungeon Master's tools at the end are light. And frankly, as someone with experience, I know half of this shit already.
Yeah.
I just like to see your take on it, Wizards, right? Like, I want to see what Wizards of the Coast has to offer. So things like differentiating between supernatural regions and magical phenomenon, fantastic. I like that they did that. It makes me think a little bit more about strange, weird environmental issues that'll pop up. But did I really need it this way? Like, I like to see their examples. What else do you have for me? Where is my fucking underwater shit? Where is my fly mechanic?
That makes sense. I mean, it's in Ghost of Saltmarsh.
It is, but if you're reprinting shit all over the place
why
anyway,
not print that here?
Right?
Yeah.
And so, but again, it's not a Dungeon Master's Guide 2. It isn't. I just wanted it to be so fucking badly. And it gave me just a hint of it. Okay. So this is worth buying. It absolutely is. I can't say that for every publication. There's some that I'm just like, what's the
Coast Adventures Guide, we're looking at you, especially now that this is out.
There's still going to be a couple of things in there. For example, we're still not getting any Forgotten Realms flavor in this book.
Not really. I mean, that's my gripe about this book. In terms of setting, there's nothing.
It's not a setting book, but then again, it didn't pretend to be, but
Volos gives you breakdowns of some monsters. It gives you a little bit of setting. Mordenkainen's, who's part of the same Council of Eight or whatever the frig they're called.
Circle of Eight.
Circle of Eight as Tasha, gives you a bunch of details into monsters and their cultures and stuff like that.
And the blood war and elves versus drow and whatnot.
Why couldn't you have some of that with Tasha's? Right?
Especially when you're less than 200 pages.
Yeah.
Give me shit about the Circle of Eight. There's nothing in 5th edition about them.
Other than brief mentions about how arrogant they are by Tasha.
Yeah, frankly, at this point, I want to see lore books coming out.
Yeah.
Stop just giving me new subclasses. And I know that everybody online is sitting there beating their meat to the fact that there's a brand new Artificer subclass. And yes, I want that shit too. But
I want lore before I want another subclass option.
Pretty much.
I want them to take a serious hard look at backgrounds and giving us more options for utilizing a background in a campaign. I want stuff like that. I could see why it's not here.
Yep.
But I think that's where we need to see next.
That is my personal wish list and shouldn't detract from what this book is, what it offers. What it offers is solid. And everything that it promises, it pays off with. Mm-hmm. I wanted a different kind of book. That is always going to be my complaint, is that I think that Wizards of the Coast is juggling too many different things all at once. The fact that we get one adventure path, one of these additional, like of everything or guide to whatever, and then one campaign setting a year means that we wait a full fucking year for the next one of these kind of books to come out. That's not fast enough for me. And it's not fast enough for most people, as I understand it. So, Dan, let's wrap this very long episode up. What grade do you give this?
Do we want to roll for it?
Sure, let's roll.
I got a 13.
I got a 10. So, what grade do you give this? And do you recommend people buy it?
As a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, someone who has played this game for many, many years, I would say that I would rate this book A-. They set out what they wanted to do very, very well. But there is some things lacking, and it's almost entirely lore around Tasha, but that's because I'm a lore nerd. Okay. Do I recommend people buy this? I mean, after the core set, which are required to play.
Well, 2 of the 3 of them are.
2 of the 3 of them are. Yes, pick this up. Maybe not before Xanathar's, but I mean, this is going to give you more subclass options than Xanathar's does.
True, and it also gives you the Artificer.
Yep. So probably I would pick Tasha's up before Xanathar's. It's tight. Depends on if I'm running that group or not. If you're coming in 5e as an experienced DM of a group who's established and you are now starting 5e and you are going to run, pick up Tasha's first. If you're a player in that group, pick up Xanathar's
If you are
first.
sitting here trying to listen to these episodes to be like, oh, what do I buy my boyfriend for? Xanathar's first.
Xanathar's first, yeah.
Okay. Honestly, you are far too generous. I gave this a solid B.
Okay.
And my reasoning for that is that what it gives me is great. It just isn't enough. At less than 200 pages for the same sticker price as I'm paying for Eberron, which is just a shit ton of pages, right? With packed full of content. It's just too expensive for what I'm spending the money on.
That's fair.
I have to say that I own this now, so it's easy for me to say that. Otherwise, I'd be frothing at the fucking mouth to get my hands on it. There's a lot of good stuff in here. I don't care about subclasses. I really don't. So when it eats up a third of the book, it makes it less important to me. But everything else in here, I want to read all these summoning spells inside and out, but I'm afraid that they're all the same. It's going to be copy and paste.
Just different flavor.
Yeah. And so how many pages of summoning spells did we get? And I feel like we did get a lot of, yes, this is the book you get when you want to summon. Yes, this is the book that you get when you want some psionic subclasses. Yes, this is the book you get when you want to know about group patrons or sidekicks. When you're fleshing out your party's motivation, and it really does that well, right? In this book, this is solid. A B is still good. It is above average.
Well, C's get degrees.
Yeah.
You college students out there, understand. C's get degrees.
So, I'm a big fan of this book. From a flavor standpoint, it's an A+. I love Tasha's
From a flavor standpoint, it's an A+ to you.
Oh, yeah. Tasha's little comments all the way through it.
But it doesn't detail who Tasha is. It doesn't give you any sort of the flavor around who Tasha is other than being able to determine her attitude and her wittiness.
That's why it's flavor and not lore. Flavor is an A+. Right? And lore is, I mean, there's almost nothing in there about lore, right? And it wasn't trying to be full of lore. It was giving you tools to build your own environments and your own party structures and whatnot. And for that, it does a great job. It's a really solid outing. I would not buy this before Xanathar's.
No.
In my head, you buy the Player's Handbook, the Monster Manual, Xanathar's, and now this. Probably Volo's in the mix.
I'd pick up Mordenkainen's before Volo's, but that's a separate discussion.
That is a separate discussion. My comment is that Volo's has low-level monsters, Mordenkainen has high-level monsters.
Okay.
So as a DM, I'd pick up Volo's first. But honestly, the thing that I hate in this book is that crazy customizing your character shit right from the very beginning. You can sub this part of this subclass in for that part of that subclass. I'm not into that, man. Just
pick one and stay with it.
Yeah, fucking play the character that's outlined. We don't need to be able to hack and recode every fucking aspect of the game. Otherwise, what's the point of having limitations?
Well, you see things where they will balance a powerful 3rd level ability with a subpar 6th level ability, and they'll do that with a page before a weak 3rd level ability and a powerful 6th level ability.
Yeah, and so you have 2 different subclasses. Each one kicks off at different speeds and different times based on whether or not they're combat or exploration. Now you can pick and choose and do it the way you want to do it. Everyone is a fucking god. And I know that the players are supposed to win. I know that this is a storytelling thing where we all feel like heroes in the end, and it's fantastic and it's great, but there's no challenge if you're always guaranteed a nat 20.
Yeah.
So I really need to dig deeper into the subclasses, especially the way that you can customize your characters.
And I'm fairly certain we've had some things wrong as well.
Well, we did a quick glance at this. We'll dig into that as we go through the other class episodes and whatnot. But man, I do love this book. The art in it is phenomenal.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is witty. It's fun. Everything they want to explain, they explain well. Mm-hmm. Everything they don't want to explain, they don't even fucking bother. So what it does, this book min-maxed itself. And I can't really complain about that. But now that I know what it is, it shouldn't be called Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Because it's not of everything, right? It just isn't. It's Tasha's Cauldron of...
some stuff.
Of customizing. That's what this is. This is the book for customizing. And that's not a bad thing. And I think it's coming out at the right time in 5th edition's lifespan.
Yep. I have friends who don't like 5th edition because it's not customizable to the extent that they like. This answers that. And I mean, if you look at the broader spectrum of fantasy-based tabletop role-playing games as well, you know that Pathfinder 2 just came out and nothing's more customizable than Pathfinder 2. And then they followed up with this.
Yeah, let me say this. If I was into customizing, if I was a player that was looking to min-max, this would get an A minus, right? Like I'm digging there. But for my style of play, I'm not interested in this.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, or at least not for that customizable standpoint. I gotta say though, fuck do I want to play with those sidekicks.
Oh yeah, right?
Holy shit, does that blow it open. I never play as a player. I'm super interested in it as it now. Like Steel Defender plus a sidekick, plus I can multi-class into Ranger and pick up my Beast Companion, plus I'll pick up some Beastmaster. Now I'm summoning shit as well. This Tasha's Cauldron of becoming the fucking general on the battlefield.
Tasha's Cauldron of delaying the game.
Of action and combat. And so, but again, customizable. And it's a lot of fun. And again, buy this book. It is worth it. This is not even the bottom half of it. A B is above average. I just don't give everything an A. And so far, that's all you've done, Dan.
We've only done 2 of these, Adam.
That's very true. So that's it for this episode on Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as dozens of other podcast apps. You can also find us at www.itsamimic.com or email us at info@itsamimic.com. Thanks for listening to the It's a Mimic podcast. Make sure to check out more Legend Lore episodes as we cover new releases as they happen, as well as some of the previously published 5th edition books. Now that we've promised that, we should probably start fucking doing that.
Yep. Is it another beer o'clock before we really get started?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh, beer o'clock. Clink.
Clink. Here's to Tasha.
Here's to alcoholism.
I mean, no. But here's to Tasha.
Call it what you wanna call it. I'm a fucking alcoholic. Bring it if you really want it. Ain't gonna put no extras on it.
Fuck.
If you're listening to this within the first week of April in 2021, then I guess you have seen the social media announcement that I was quitting the podcast, and you have probably read the show notes for this. And I just want to say, April Fools, I'm not quitting. Of course I'm not quitting, but I made you click.